football. It has its ups and downs. There's the players who kiss the badge and kiss the club goodbye, right after you've splashed out £100 to get their name on your kit. And the A-list striker who always sticks it in row Z. The good news is the Ladbrokes ACCA gives you auto insurance, free bets back and big odds boosts. So whatever else lets you down, it won't be your ACCA. It's a gaffer of an ACCA from Ladbrokes.
18 plus, online and mobile. Minimum odds apply. Maximum 1 to 3 £10 free bets per customer per day. Up to £50 of boosted odds. Restrictions and T&Cs apply. BeGambleAware.org. Take time to think.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Group. Big brands, great choice, a good deal, better. Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. Celtic have beaten Ross County 4-1 in the Highlands to move 18 points clear. Just brief reactions to that quickly before we get team news from the 3 o'clock games.
Outstanding performance from Celtic given the conditions, and they repaid the fans who made that long journey. 4-1 is an exceptional scoreline in those surroundings.
Yeah, we'd back that up. Thought they played very, very well in the first half and got their rewards. Probably could have been more at half time. Came under a wee bit of pressure, like you would expect in a day like today, and conceded. But again, then just took it up another level. And of course, Brendan Rodgers got the luxury to make those changes who can come on and affect the game in a positive
Just another
way.
typical Celtic win, to be honest. 2-1 up. You're looking at the game thinking they've got to score a couple more. They tend to do that. Brendan Rodgers will be delighted with this afternoon's work.
Let's go around the other grounds then. They've waited patiently. It's almost 20-3. The game in Dingwall running on and on. One of the most dramatic venues in terms of team news would be Easter Road, because Motherwell had serious issues in a fairly critical position. But Fraser Wishart can tell us all about it.
They've gone absolutely right. You know, they've had to make changes in goal. Archie Mayer has been signed on loan from Norwich City, and Archie is an Aberdeen lad, was Aberdeen youth team, 23. He's come in and he starts the game because Aston Oxborough is injured, and Christian Heggie has had to go back to West Ham. So that's one of 6 changes which I'll get to later on in the Motherwell starting lineup, and they're going to have to perform well because it's a good opportunity for Hibs to continue their good run of form. David Gray won Manager of the Month, and a long way from the dark days when fans were even worried he might lose his job, and they're looking at the top 6 where they should be, if we're being honest. And today it's important they close the gap on Motherwell. Motherwell are just currently 5 points ahead of them at the moment, so a big game for Hibs as well. Just one defeat, and that was at Parkhead in the last 9 games, 5 wins and 2 draws. Means that the players will be full of confidence, especially after coming from behind twice against Rangers last weekend. Motherwell themselves have a good season, but Stuart Kettlewell I think will be frustrated. Inconsistency. I saw them lose to Hearts 10 days ago. They were really poor. And then last weekend they won deservedly, played well against Aberdeen, and then a draw in midweek, decent result against Kilmarnock, but that leaves them in 5th and only 3 points behind Aberdeen in 4th. Some of the long-term injuries are coming back as well, and as you said, the keeper problems mean that they've made 6 changes to their team. But from a Hibs point of view, they made 2 changes. Out go Lewis Miller and Kwon. They dropped to the bench, and in come Warner Hora and Dylan Levitt, who's not started many games this season. So they go their usual 3-4-1-2 formation. Jordan Smith is in goals. You got Warner Hora, Rocky Bushiri and Jack Iredale at the back. Across the middle, Chris Cadden, Nectar Triantis, Dylan Levitt and Nicky Cann, with Josh Campbell behind the 2 strikers, Dwight Gale and Martin Boyle. Joseph Bursic, Lewis Miller, Ben Amos, Sean McCurdy, Hiyoko Kwon, Jordan Obita, Nathan Mariah Welsh, Junior Hoylett and Rudy Molotnikov are the substitutes. As I said, 6 changes for Motherwell. Kaleta, Casey dropped to the bench along with Dravkovsky and Maswanisi. Gordon's out and Elksborough are out injured. In come Mayer and Andrews, the 2 lone players for their debuts. O'Donnell, McGinn, Blaney and Sparrow. A wee slight change to their formation, 3-5-2 today. Archie Mayer in goals, Kofi Balmer, Paul McGinn and Shane Blaney at the back. Across the middle, Stephen O'Donnell, Tom Sparrow, Andy Halliday, Kai Andrews and Ewan Wilson, with Jack Vale and Tony Watt as the strikers. Matthew Connolly, Davor Dravkovsky, Callum Slattery, Dan Casey, Sam Nicholson, Marvin Kaleta, John Kutrumbis, Moses Ibe and Tawanda Maswanisi are the substitutes. The referee today is Colin Stephen, and in the VAR is Don Robertson.
Let's go to the other Premiership game, which is St Mirren Dundee United. David Friel is there.
This should be a belter, Gordon, basically, and I think Stephen Robertson admits St Mirren are pretty much out for revenge today. They played Dundee United 3 times this season, twice in the league, once in the cup, and have lost all 3 without even scoring a goal. So the St Mirren manager, who was again linked with a Luton job this week, that one never tends to go away, wants a different outcome this time as they bid to end a 3-game losing run since that memorable win over Rangers. It's been such an inconsistent period for St Mirren the last couple of months. They won 2 league games, then lost 2, then won 3 league games, then lost 3. So they've been up and down. However, they are still sitting in the top 6 and they can move within 4 points of Dundee United, who are sitting in third with a win today. You know, as we say, United in third. Jim Goodwin's side are having a really good season, but they have lost 2 in the bounce against Hearts and Celtic coming into this one before going to Parkhead in midweek. Jim Goodwin admitted he had an eye in this game in Paisley, and he kept the likes of top scorer Sam Dalby fresh for this game. And I think after Kyogo scored twice in Dingwall to go level on 10 league goals for the season, Dalby will want to get one here to go back ahead in the scoring charts. And I think Jim Goodwin up against his former club will see this as a huge chance to go 10 points ahead of St Mirren, who are a direct rival, and that would be a huge gap at this stage of the season. St Mirren have made just 3 changes. Gogic, Boyd Munson, Olasanya are all out. Iacoviti, Idowu and Mandron are in. Zach Heyman will be in goals. Marcus Fraser, Alec Iacoviti and Richard Taylor at the back. Elvis Pomono, Mark Kahara, Killian Phillips and Scott Tanzer across the middle, with Roland Idowu and Greg Kiltie in behind Mikael Mandron. Subs for St Mirren are Urminski, Gogic, Penman, John Smith, Boyd Munns, Mooney, Olasanya and Oseni. As for United, they've made 5 changes from that defeat at Celtic. Holt, Strain, Docherty, Stevenson and Dolby are all in. Ross Graham, Odada, Fotheringham, Trapanovsky and Van der Sande are out. So they're going to line up same pretty much formation, 3-4-2-1. Jack Walton in goals, Emmanuel Adebayoga, Declan Gallagher and Kevin Holt at the back. Ryan Strain, Vico Sevelj, Ross Docherty and Will Ferry across the middle, with Lucas Stevenson and Glenn Middleton supporting Sam Dalby. Subs for United are Richards, Graham, Fotheringham, Van der Sande, Sturton, Trapanovsky, Moult, Thompson and Cleel Harding. The referee in Paisley is David Dickinson and the VAR is Alan Muir.
So that's your Premiership offering. We've got 2 games tomorrow, only 5 games across the weekend. What about the Championship then? The league leaders Falkirk are at home against Queen's Park, and the Roger Hannah's there.
Yeah, and Falkirk can finally kickstart 2025 today, Gordon. John McGlynn's leaders haven't played since that thrilling 3-3 derby draw at Dunfermline between Christmas and New Year. Interestingly, with fixture chaos, they've won only 1 game in more than a month, but they do have the chance to go 7 points clear at the top of the Championship table this afternoon and stay in pole position for back-to-back titles and promotions, and a return to the top flight for the first time in 15 years. McGlynn has added Eamon Brophy and Dara O'Connor to his squad this week after Luke Graham was recalled by Dundee. 4 of the next 5 are here at home, including a Scottish Cup clash with Raith Rovers next weekend, and they will be buoyed by memories of an outstanding display at Hampden in November when Aidan Nisbet's goal gave them 3 points against the Spiders. It all kicked off here as well with a 2-1 opening day win against Callum Davidson's Queen's Park. The Spiders themselves, they've lost lone defender Dane Murray back to Celtic. They've got right back Zach Mochan suspended after his red card in last week's win against Livingston. They do remain on the edge of the playoffs in 5th place, but are now 7 points behind Partick after the Jacks 2-1 win at Hamilton last night, and they would really need to get something here today just to keep on Thistle's coattails. Falkirk, they make 3 changes from that Pars draw. Cole Donaldson is back to replace the departed Graham. Calvin Miller preferred to Ethan Ross in a wide position, and Brophy is straight in place of Ross McKeever up top. So it's Nicky Hogarth in goal. The back 4, Keelan Adams, Cole Donaldson, Liam Henderson and Leon McCann. Brad Spencer and Dylan Tate in midfield, then Callum Morrison, Aidan Nisbet and Calvin Miller behind the debutant Eamon Brophy. On the bench, Monroe, Yates and Aguiman, McKenna, Stewart and Oliver, Ross, O'Connor and Mackey. Just the one change, that enforcement for Queen's Park, Mochan dropping out. Ryan Duncan on loan from Aberdeen comes in. When I saw him earlier in the season, Gordon, he was wide in the right winger, but I think he'll be in it right back today. So it's Callum Ferry in goal. We think the back 4, Ryan Duncan, Nicola Ujdur, Will Tizard and Joshua Scott. Midfield, Sean Welsh and Jack Thompson. Then Jack Turner, Dom Thomas and Louis Longridge behind Zach Rudden. On the bench, Wills, Thompson, McLeish, Hines, Drozd and Smith, Hickey Fugacia, Carrick and McGinley. The referee at Falkirk Stadium today is Chris Graham.
So that's you up to speed on your team news ahead of the 3 o'clock games. We've already had a dramatic afternoon in Dingwall that we can look back on. Some breaking news out of Ibrox that Philippe Clement has the backing of new CEO Patrick Stewart. There is a lot to keep us warm on this freezing Saturday afternoon, and plenty more when we return.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Saturday afternoon in the company of Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon DL. How else would you rather spend your time? Freezing cold, plenty of football to keep us going though. Celtic have already beaten Ross County by 4-1 up in the Highlands, and now attention turns to the 3 o'clock games. You do wonder, Fraser Wishart, just how disruptive that is. I don't know, is it better or worse that it's in such a specialised position like goalkeeping, where Motherwell lose their first choice due to injury, at the same time the second choice gets recalled from his parent club? You have to sign someone at lunchtime and then he goes straight in. Is it, like I say, is that extra disruptive because it's a goalie, or is it easier for them to go in?
No, I think it's extra disruptive when you're a goalie, because goalkeeper in the back four or back three in Motherwell's case, it's all about communication as well, you know, and you've got experienced players in there like Paul McGinn at the back, but they don't know. Archie Mayer, is he somebody that comes off his line? How good is he on the ball? Is he right footed? Is he left footed? What's the shouts that they have for pushing up the pitch or defending deep? So I think it's a difficult one, and it's unusual because goalkeepers get injured and usually there's a second choice, as you said, that will step into that position. But with Christian Heggie, I don't know the reasons why he's been recalled. He's certainly not been playing. Some of West Ham are thinking, well, what's the point of him sitting on the bench at Motherwell? Might as well bring him back. But for whatever the reason is, young Archie Mayer, he's been on loan to Morecambe this year. He's played a lot of first team football, so he's got that kind of experience of as a lot of players get in the lower leagues in England. He's 23. He was in Aberdeen's youth team. He's a Scots lad, so there's plus points there as well. But it's certainly not ideal, I think, for Stuart Kettlewell.
And Morecambe are famously much better than Ross County as well, so he should do
100
fine.
times better, I think you'll find.
He should do absolutely fine in the Scottish Premiership. Without opening too much of a debate, Fraser, because we don't have the time, but particularly with your PFA Scotland hat on, at a time when world football is probably playing too many games, you just look at this schedule, look at teams like Motherwell. I see some reaction from the Motherwell fans on what is Kettlewell doing. I can't believe he's left out Maswanisi. I can't believe he's left out Caletta. It's just absolutely down to the fact that they've been run into the ground, and these are young guys that have barely played any first team football before.
Yeah, but it's so difficult for our governing bodies and for the SPFL to fit games in because of the commitments of European football and international football as well. And of course this year it was decided to try and help Rangers and Celtic, and we hoped that Hearts might get there as well into the later stages of Europe, that we would not have a winter break as well, which I think is not ideal. I saw Brendan Rodgers making comments about that, and Brendan should pop up the stairs and speak to Michael Nicholson, his chief exec, because the decision was taken to actually help our clubs, but that's not ideal for cramming games in. And of course December and January, it tends to be a lot of games. The clubs like games over the festive period because they think it brings in more money, and it tends to. So all these things start to mount up, and if you've got a big squad, and Motherwell have got a big squad, I mean Stuart's been backed by his board, you have to use them. So I've got no problem with managers making 4 and 5 changes when there's so many games in a row over such a short period of time.
I know there was a bit of debate about this. You know, Brendan Rodgers was speaking yesterday about bringing back the winter break and, you know, cramming so many games in, but alarmingly there aren't actually that many free weeks to play games, are there? I mean, you know, Celtic and Rangers played this midweek, but that was catch up, I presume, from like the cup final, when, you know, because we choose to have our cup competition in December. A lot of other European countries don't have a League Cup. We do. We've now got extended European competitions. It's getting difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's greater pressure now because of European competition, and that's something in my role on the board of FIFPro that you're looking at as well, at that highest level, the number of games the top players are playing. But that has an impact on domestic football, because all of a sudden, as I said now, the impact of more European ties is that we don't get a winter break, and we're having to cram games in to week on week. I spoke to somebody at the SPFL earlier on in the season, and they said to me that if the Rangers against Hearts game, first game of the season, let's just say that had been cancelled for some reason, they couldn't have played it before December. So it's really difficult. I have every sympathy with those who have to put the fixtures together. I have to say they're always criticised, but it's an almost impossible job, and we're almost at breaking point, I think, now, and I think Brendan Rodgers will probably look at it and think the winter break might not be a bad thing, even though we're still in European ties, you know, so that might change. But we're trying our best to help our European teams, but that just means total and utter fixture congestion for everybody, including the likes of Motherwell and Hibs.
That mad portion of the league, David Friel, that both of your teams are in. I mean, Dundee United probably sit at the top of it, but you really predicting European spots, top 6, I don't really know how anyone, relegation for that matter, good luck to anyone, because we're now well into January. We've played over half of the season, and that looks extremely tight.
Yeah, it does, and you also look at Hearts. I mean, Hearts are second bottom just now, 23 points, but you still fancy Hearts to go on a run, Gordon. So United are away in 34 points. You'd think they'd be out of sight of Hearts, but you would fancy Hearts to be pushing for the top 6 as well, and yeah, mad is the one word to describe it, and that's why I think this is a huge game for Dundee United, because Jim Goodwin, look, I think he just wanted to consolidate in the league somewhere mid-table. I think he's now got his eyes maybe on Europe. He probably won't admit that, but he's thinking top 6, thinking Europe, and if he can go 10 points ahead of St Mirren today, that'd be a huge boost for Dundee United. You know, that's a hard deficit for St Mirren to overturn in the final kind of months of the season. So huge game for him, and as also said as well with St Mirren, they've got European aspirations, they've got top 6 aspirations, and I think for them they need to get some form of consistency. It's been too topsy-turvy, you know. I think it's probably infuriating Stephen Robinson because last season they were so consistent, you knew what you're always going to get from them. This season they've been so up and down. He just wants to get a solid run of results now starting today.
And for you, Roger, in the Championship, everyone's looking at Falkirk. Can they be the team that comes up? It's a strange card this weekend because Morton and Wraith was meant to be tomorrow, but that's off, isn't it? Did one of you guys mention that it's off? And then good win for Mark Wilson's Partick Thistle last night. Friend of the show, Brian Graham, on the score sheet.
Yeah, Brian Graham, of course, your young Ben Stanley coming off the bench to score an absolute perler of a winner for Thistle, and that was big for Chris Doolan off the back of that home defeat to Dunfermline last week. I think if they'd lost at Hamilton last night and lost more ground than the 3 teams above them, that might have put a bit of pressure on Chris Doolan. Falkirk have a free run today, as you say. Morton against Wraith is off tomorrow. I think the league said it was a gas leak at Capello has put the game off rather than any problems with the pitch, so this will be the only remaining Championship game, and Falkirk, who have had to wait a while to get a game of football, now get a chance to go 7 points ahead of Ayr United. Really interesting that John McGlynn has gone out right at the start of the window before the first game of 2025 and added at both ends of the park. Game in Brophy starts this afternoon. He's a former Scotland international, Gordon. He's played in the Premier League for many years. Ross County, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Hamilton. He has been course and distance. He will add a cutting edge, I think, for Falkirk in the last few weeks of the season. And Darragh O'Connor, he's on the bench today, but he will give them a little bit more defensive cover now that Luke Graham's been recalled by Dundee.
The scene is set. The 3 o'clock kickoffs are ready to go ahead. We've had a big win for Celtic in Dingwall. We've had a big afternoon in terms of news coming out of Ibrox. Philippe Clement given the backing of the Rangers board. We can look back on it all, and we will hear from Brendan Rodgers when we return.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Football, it has its ups and downs. There's the players who kiss the badge and kiss the club goodbye right after you've splashed out £100 to get their name on your kit. And the A-list striker who always sticks it in row Z. The good news is the Ladbrokes ACCA gives you auto insurance, free bets back and big odds boosts. So whatever else lets you down, it won't be your ACCA. It's a gaffer of an ACCA from Ladbrokes.
18 plus, online and mobile. Minimum odds apply. Maximum 1 to 3 £10 free bets per customer per day. Up to £50 of boosted odds. Restrictions and T&Cs apply. BeGambleAware.org. Take time to think.
Here with Mary. Ups, Mary. Tell us how that went.
Yeah, came out real hungry. Had to be quick to save the last few. Bagels, that is.
Warburton's protein thin bagels?
Yeah, right. Kept my eye on the prize as I knew we'd bring the heat later in the toaster.
How about the rest of the team, though?
Yeah, great support from Cosa Manchego. Prosciutto played a blinder as well, so got pretty tasty out there at times.
Sandwich of 2 halves, would you say?
Yeah, 100%, and 8 grams of protein. Great result.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
The protein range from Warburton's. Bakers, born and bred.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here. We have 2 big games taking place in the Premiership at 3 o'clock. St Mirren, Dundee United and Hibs Motherwell. We've got 1 game finished. Ross County 1, Celtic 4. We're going to hear from Brendan Rodgers very soon and find out what he thought of it. There was a briefing given by new CEO at Ibrox, Patrick Stewart, who backed Philippe Clement to continue in the job for now. So plenty to get our teeth into on a Saturday afternoon on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. How does your 3 o'clock ACCA look? You've only got 2 games. See, I will give you throw a Championship game in there as well.
Yeah.
Go on.
Straightforward for me. St Mirren, Hibs, Falkirk, 3 home wins.
Worryingly for me, I've done the same, Hugh. 3 home wins as well.
I'll mix it up. I'm not like them. I'll go St Mirren, Dundee United draw. The other one's 2 home wins.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get your essential medicines and vaccines before you head off on holiday.
Come on then, a 6-hour special on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. What are we?
Halfway there.
Halfway there. Not that you're counting.
No, I've got the clock right next to me.
Remember
the
last
countdown.
week he counts
the
the hours up in a strange way.
You've got the what next to you?
The clock.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Mark, right? Okay.
Yeah, I've got that to the right of me. Yeah,
but he counts them up in. How is it you do it again?
Please don't try and make him explain.
I wanted to confuse the listeners.
Well, if it's 5 o'clock at night, I have in my head that 6 hours 11 o'clock, so I'm going to 11 o'clock at night. So I'm looking at 2 episodes of Coronation Street, Emmerdale, and then we're in the final straight.
That's what we've got to go.
There's nothing about your
No,
life.
we've only 3 hours to go.
So what have we got in your workings?
Emmerdale, Coronation Street, and then probably a 9 o'clock to 10. Boom, we're up the road.
Traitors.
Traitors. That's it.
I don't even understand what you're on about.
There's nothing about his life that makes any sense to me.
Because rather than just saying we've got 3 hours left and that's 3 hours, he calculates it as okay, this will feel the same as the length of time it takes me from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. whatever I'm doing, and I just don't get how that's any different.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
What else in your life do you calculate in those units?
There's a lot of calculation goes into my life.
I've just done a weather bulletin. That's kind of that 3 minute
He's
slot.
a complex individual, isn't he? He really is. Eamon Brophy, now a Falkirk player, fires wide with his first chance. A shot from Calvin Miller's cross. You reckon he'll be a good signing in the Championship?
Yeah,
you think so?
I think he will be. I think he could be the difference, because I fancy him the way Falkirk play. I fancy him to score goals. Here's one for you. I'll go out on the limb here. He'll score today.
Okay, great. Extra predictions. Andy Halliday fouled inside the first minute. Just par for the course, isn't it?
Yeah, get his strip dirty.
All action.
He's had a busy old week, Andy.
Why does he not get his hat on with father on it? I'm a bit disappointed with that.
Announcement on Instagram.
Just appearing from behind people. That's like his announcement. Well, congratulations to him. I've not had a chance to see him, so well done.
I don't know, because I don't. What?
Exactly. See, so you know Andy's wife is a influencer, big Instagram following, etc. So there was a big announcement video that they're expecting a child, so the world has become aware of the information. So he's going to be.
But people don't, Hugh, just say hello everyone, we are having a child.
Done with bells and whistles.
So it's quite mysterious to start, and then Andy just appears
with a hat on.
With a hat.
Father
on what's that saying in his hat? Father. That's good.
Father Halliday. Yeah.
Well,
I don't think he'd like to be referred to in that.
Who would have thought
it?
We Sean's due in 9 months.
Hibs nil, Motherwell. By the way, I'm trying to do speaking of your calculations that you do. He must have managed to plan that right for the end of the season. I think it's end of May. Hang the boots up. Turn your attentions to fatherhood.
That is good planning.
That's incredible.
Didn't a tea.
If it's a girl, I'd call her Summer Halliday.
I like it.
Get some
very
suggestions
good,
in there.
That's very good,
playing at the birth.
I like that, Hugh. I'm applauding that for once.
Okay, talk about football maybe rather than Andy Halliday's child. Hibs nil, Motherwell nil, 3 minutes gone. Same story between St.Mirren and Dundee United. Nothing to tell you about yet. We're going to get reaction from Dingwall. Let's do this, Hugh.
Sure.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I was watching Claudia Winkleman on the telly last night. So in the spirit of the traitors, can you name the last 6 players to make at least 10 competitive appearances for both Hearts and Hibs?
Oh, I like it. I like what you've done. Read that again.
What? Can you name the last 6 players to make at least 10 competitive appearances for both Hearts and Hibs? They played for both clubs, Dazzler.
Yeah, I've got it, mate. I'm right on it. I'm right on it.
See?
Yeah.
You're a traitor to your first Edinburgh club. Go on then. The race is on. It starts now at Clyde SSB. Let's see how quickly you can get those answers. Do you know what I'm frantically scrolling through my phone to find? Because it must be this time last year. Remember you had like a black hoodie on and we made you do a sort of traitor's reveal in the studio. Do you not remember that?
No.
Please tell me
I
I've
remember
made this
that.
up. So I must have that video on my phone from this time last year, and if I do, it's certainly going to be worth a repost.
Well, I don't remember that.
I would think. Yes, there we go. There you are.
Sure, it's me.
In all your glory. I'll stick that on Instagram right now.
No, don't, please.
Yeah. Oh. He's loving it as well.
No.
Get on Instagram.
No, don't put that out.
Last year already.
Aye, he's on.
Are you okay, Mark?
That's him. He's been revealed as his new man. That's quite a good reveal for you.
Anyway, so you've got a Traitors inspired question, sort of. I mean, it's a bit tenuous, but we're looking for the last 6 players who've made at least 10 competitive appearances for both Hearts and Hibs. At Clyde SSB, we're looking for one tweet with all the correct answers on it. So get your thinking caps on. Game of the day. Oh, I thought it was 2-0. Forget that. I take it back. Alloa 0, Queen of the South 1 early on in League One. Not quite game of the day. I thought we had 2 goals inside the first 4 minutes.
I think we've already had the game of the day, to be truthful.
Yeah, it was a good game in Dingwall.
Yeah.
Considering the conditions, Hugh, thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot to talk about. Ross County deserve a little bit of credit for the second half. They come back into it, got that goal, penalty kick, but you got to say, on the evidence of play overall, Celtic deserved it.
Amazing, the game of the day and the story of the day before 3 o'clock. You know, Celtic's winning performance 4-1. Rangers' new chief executive confirming that Philippe Clement will stay, but results must improve. And tens of thousands of fans saying, "You don't say."
I can't believe you're getting backing out there. Jordi Gaz says, I hate to agree with the Dazzler, but I do the same when I'm at work in the hotel. If I'm on a 12-8, I count it in what football games are live that day.
There you go.
So the early kick-off takes me to 3, then soccer Saturday to 6, then the late game, he says.
It's the way to do it. Honestly, it's the way forward.
So you're the leader of a kind of alternative
There's
cult.
a lot of people out there think the same.
You're a
as
new
me.
age man now, and now you're kind of in charge
I'm
of a
leading
cult.
by example, Hugh. I'm leading by example.
Yeah, but whose example though? That's the worry.
He's a pioneer, he really is. He leads the way. Not much to tell you about in the 3 o'clock games. I think Motherwell been getting a bit of stick from social media about lack of possession and maybe trying to play a bit more attractive, even though the results have been pretty good this season. They've had not a bad amount of the ball early on against Hibs, but no real goal scoring chances. Archie Mayer, I wonder how he's feeling. New goalkeeper, probably doesn't even know his teammates' names, and he's been signed this afternoon and thrown straight into the action. Stuart Kettlewell saying before the game a suspected fractured finger, I think, for Aston Oxborough, which tends
How long
to be
does
an
that
issue.
take you out for?
I don't know. Tends to be an issue if you're a goalkeeper.
Just tape it up, do you know? Tape them together.
Nah, I don't think so.
But I think we saw a new goalkeeping star today at Ross County. What a performance. He's a German, isn't he?
Amisa, I think so, or certainly born there.
Yeah.
Lost
Some
4.
performance. Well, but be fair.
Nah, he was
Chucked
good.
one in.
Nah, he was
Lost
good.
4.
did, mate. He
Chucked
did.
one in.
I'm not having the cynicism from these two.
Come
Yeah.
running out for a penalty kick.
Just trying to be funny every 2
Yeah.
minutes. Tedious stuff.
He was good. He was good, Hugh.
But remember, he's gone new age now, the Dazzler, so it'll be herbal tea next and all sorts of things.
Oh, I'm not going down that road here.
I've had a few peppermints today. I'm on the peppermint tea.
Nice, I like
Nice.
it.
Disgusting.
Not like
Not
peppermint?
fan.
Absolutely not. Greg Kilty's had a shot deflected over. St Mirren looking lively in the early stages. Did you all go home win on that one,
Yeah,
did you?
yeah.
What game's that?
Interested in
No, Dazzler was a draw.
Draw,
Mirren,
draw,
Dundee United.
draw for me. I seen big AG at the gates yesterday. I says to him, she's a bit difficult game against the Tangerines. And there are no Tangerines, are they?
If Alex
Are they?
Alex
They get a
Gogic
few
referring to Dundee United as the Tangerines at the school gate would
Yeah.
be quite a surprise. And you obviously didn't give him good advice because he's been dropped today. So
Oh, no way. Oh, wait till I get there Monday. I'll be early.
Has he not been suspended for the last couple, or did they come back into the
He
fold?
missed one and he come back in.
Did he?
Oh, that's a big decision.
big blow for you. He disappointed in your pal.
Yeah, I like to have a chat.
Yeah,
Nice
right.
guy, really nice guy. Thinks the same of me.
He's not been great recently, says David Friel. Tell him that.
Oh, here's go. Manager 3 done again. The only guy in Scotland that tells Brendan Rodgers how to play football.
I wonder what Brendan Rodgers has got to say for himself after the win in Dingwall. We will hear it soon. Celtic fans, we will open the phones later and you can have your say, of course. And Rangers fans, I get the feeling you might have more to get off your chest following that briefing at Ibrox earlier on today, Hugh.
Yeah, it can't help but be that way. As I say, Celtic's win not only increases the points advantage to 18, it increases the goal difference to a ridiculous degree. And it'll be a troubled atmosphere at Ibrox tomorrow. We'll talk about the size of the crowd, but those who are there, what are they there for? But to demand that Rangers start to do things, and that the CEO, the one thing he said that of course makes sense, that results must improve. Well, that begins tomorrow at 3 o'clock at Ibrox, and Rangers will be scrutinised like never before. I've never actually known a situation where every supporter, everyone, the Rangers Supporters Association, the young men who stand behind the goal, who were in praise of Clement earlier in the season, and they went and did the dance routine in front of them. The dance has stopped now. The band's gone home, and they have to get results beginning tomorrow because the fans don't want them. The board have backed them to a point, but trouble.
The board would be in some position, Hugh, if tomorrow it went wrong.
It'd be impossible.
It'd be incredible. They come out with a statement today, and then the next day they lose a game, which I don't think they will, but all of a sudden that is pressure.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're playing the bottom club.
I do wonder, obviously, people who want him out, who I'm not denying for a second there will be in abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Those are bound to be a bit noisier. I'm looking through social media. I think there is still an element there who thinks that not so much that he's 100% the right man for the job, but that is there any point in sacking him anyway? Which is sort of kind of the vibes you get from Patrick Stewart. I don't think Patrick Stewart or anyone's even saying this guy's a genius, he 100% will take us forward, but more of the sacking him definitely change anything? Does it guarantee any upturn?
In the toxic atmosphere we have right now, as Gordon said, were anything to go wrong tomorrow, you're going to have banners at Ibrox tomorrow. It's inevitable. Now, the board will also come under pressure because the supporters will say, we wanted firm leadership from you, from the chief exec, from the new chairman, and the statement doesn't provide firm leadership in our estimation. So you've got a club at war with itself now. You get supporters who want the manager out. All supporters, well, some of them will come on at 5 o'clock and say, I don't want him out. The vast majority of the Rangers supporters want Philippe Clement out of the job, and the statement today will tell the vast majority of supporters they're not getting the leadership that's in tune with their feelings.
Yeah, that's one for the phone in later on then. Rangers fans, so many strands to it. Is it the right decision ultimately by Rangers to stick with Philippe Clement for now? What do you make of Patrick Stewart's explanations? What did you make of his revelation that there will be one, maybe two players brought in January? Are you going tomorrow? Are you staying away? Have you seen enough? Those who are going tomorrow, how will the point be made? What will the atmosphere be like? So there's a lot to get through there. You can give us a call a bit later on. We will reflect, of course, more on the game in Dingwall, because we should be hearing from Brendan Rodgers any minute now. St Mirren are pushing hard. Dundee United are hemmed in a little bit in Paisley.
I think they had a tough night midweek, didn't they? Dundee United. Jim kind of touching on the point, the volume of games at this time and the squad rotations probably not been there for teams like Dundee United, and another tough one today. That's why I went for a St Mirren one. I just think home advantage might be the key factor in that fixture.
It's always hard to tell almost, because Celtic are so far ahead. Did Dundee United do about as well as you can do in the second half?
In the second half, I thought they carried a small threat. They put the ball into the box a couple of times. Schmeichel made a save. Dalby was inches away from getting his toe on one. So they tried to promote bodies forward, but it's so difficult against Celtic when they're in that kind of form, and you've got a squad that's maybe tiring and you can't rotate. So, but nevertheless, Jim should be delighted with the job he's done. The United fans as well, because they're turning out numbers every week now. You see the atmosphere and the change at that club is remarkable from a few seasons ago.
This run at the moment is their 7th game in 20 days. Now I think you brought it up earlier, the team line up at Celtic Park, and people say, Sam Dalby's the league's top scorer and he's not playing, but look across the board. We mentioned it with Fraser, with Tawanda Maswanise or Marvin Coletta. If you're playing 7 games in 20 days, it's pretty hard to get the same players to go to the well time and time again.
Brendan Rodgers repeated Stuart Kettlewell's line that players are not robots, and inevitably there will be injury problems or other problems associated with playing so many games in such a tight space of time. The funny thing is, Brendan Rodgers made a mockery of his own argument today, because Celtic haven't looked that bright for a while.
Yeah, they're just so far ahead though, aren't they, with squad size and that sort of stuff. And Kevin Holtz had a powerful volley saved. Good effort actually from about 20 yards. Has he been, I mean, I know you inexplicably put Babunski in your team of the season. Kevin Holt's been good for Dundee United, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has been. He's been good since he joined, actually. So a good season last season, then followed it up this year, mainstay of the side. But there's been many that have probably, I don't know if overperformed, probably taken us all by surprise. Boyd Ferry on the left hand side is a really good signing.
Do you know who surprised me? Middleton. I know he's been used, you know, he come off the bench.
No, but I think you're right, because at the start of the season he wasn't in the team and he's had to really force his way in.
I think every time I see him now, he's a threat. He's got good pace going forward. He's fully confident. I think Dundee United are the right fit for him. I think Dundee United have recruited very well this summer, I've got to say, and that's why they're sitting up there in third place.
Well, you can't. They are the promoted club. To be sitting third behind Celtic and Rangers, there is literally nothing more you can do. So at the moment, it's outstanding work on Jim Goodwin's behalf.
Yeah, we'll have a look to see what they can come up with tomorrow. Aberdeen, that is, and the team's Nicky Cadden's taken a serious whack on the nose.
It's a sore one.
It was an aerial challenge with Kai Andrews, just a complete accident. I don't think there's any decision to be made by the referee. I think Kai Andrews actually wins the header, but it's a proper sore one for Nicky Cadden,
whose name was linked with Celtic last night by a caller on Super Scoreboard.
The caller brought up, said why not
sign him?
He's been good since he's came to Hibs. Real outlet in that left hand side. Doesn't hesitate at putting the ball in the box. But I don't think he's at that level, to be honest. Hibs will be an interesting one today, how they back up the performance against Rangers.
He's actually going to be subbed, Nicky Cadden.
Was he? It must have been a real bad.
What a blow that is, because, well, obviously the ability wise, but even no matter who it is, if you're forced off after 17 minutes for just like I say, a knock to the nose, usually the bleeding stops or whatever, but
it must be a broken snozzle. It's got to be.
Jordan Obita is coming on.
Chance for Motherwell down that right hand side. I'm telling you, Lewis Miller or Obita, you get chances all day long.
Motherwell would have to attack first, Mark. That might be the issue.
Who have they got? Stephen O'Donnell playing out there this afternoon.
18 minutes gone and I don't think they've attacked.
Is that the problem with Motherwell? I mean, midweek against Kilmarnock, it was a tough watch. Didn't show much intent in going forward. I wonder if it's the same today at Easter Road.
Right, this is good. I know you've pitched it at the right level of difficulty here, because with 21 minutes past 3 we've only got one correct answer on the teaser, Hugh. So if you could read it again, please.
In the spirit of the traitors, can you name the last 6 players to make at least 10 competitive appearances for both Hearts and Hibs?
How do you two think you're faring at this? You got a wee list?
I've got 2.
Only 2?
I was going to say, do you mean one answer as in they've got all 6? Or
one person who's got all
6, hasn't he? That's impressive. I've only got 2 so far. That's quite difficult.
Correct.
Just for clarity, you think only one person had got one of
answer.
these right? Come on, they're not.
I thought this is difficult.
What do you think? Show me what are your 2 that you've got?
They're correct, yeah.
I mean, the second one's an interesting
one.
The second one's excellent.
Didn't know who that was.
I've sort of switched off.
Only because I only know this because I clicked on some of this clickbait. It was Sean Maloney signings. Where are they now? For some reason, so I clicked on it. Wee clue.
And where is he now?
I'm not sure. I didn't pay much attention.
I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a bit of a clue, because I think it clearly is difficult. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 Scots. So out of the 6, 4 of them are Scottish. One of them is Irish, and the other one is, why can't I remember off the top of my head? I think it might just be English actually, but he's English. Okay, an Englishman, an Irishman, and 4 Scots. The worst joke.
You don't hear many of the jokes anymore, do you?
Probably for
I'll guarantee there'll be a goalie in there, won't there?
Don't know.
And again, I'll help you. No goalies.
Right, okay. I just wanted to see if I'd bring you out in that one.
Okay, right. Do you want to hear from Brendan Rodgers, shall we? Let's hear just an update on Kyogo first of all, on his position, because there was a bit of a debate this week and so on. Tell you what, you want a wee clue? Look who just scored for Exeter. How does that help you out? How's that for timing?
Wow, I'll tell you where he is.
Yeah.
That's amazing, That's weird.
Spooky.
That's spooky. People are listening. People are listening, Hugh.
Yeah.
This is Brendan Rodgers' update on Kyogo. There was a kind of debate this week. You know, people thought he had been revealed as going to Atlanta and so on.
I think you have to remember he was a winger when he played in Japan. That's what he was. He came into the club as a winger, so he has played there, but his profile's not 1v1 beating people like some wingers are. So it was a case of trying to, obviously having 2 goal scorers out of the team, it was trying to bring goal scorers in and find a way to be flexible to allow him to do that. And I thought he and Arna and Ali managed that really well on that side of the pitch.
I don't mind coming clean. I heard that clip was about Rodgers talking about Kyogo's position. I thought they meant his position at the club rather than on the pitch. But listen, it's all about honesty. So yes, he did play in a different position today, and it clearly worked.
Quite interesting that though, because that's not the way I watched the game. Obviously he started Kyogo off the right, but he was very central. I know Engels dropped into that kind of full-back position to pick up the ball for the centre-back. Johnson was really high and wide, but Kyogo was always in a bit either. But I like to look at it. I thought he'd done well. I thought he had much more involvement in the game, taking away his goals. Much more touches. I think he would have enjoyed the game today, because usually, like I say, he doesn't get many touches of the ball, so he must have enjoyed it this afternoon.
The story about Atlanta created a lot of talk of, Celtic could be tempted to say to let him go in this transfer window, but I think it would be a gamble too far. They're still in the Champions League. They've got young boys to come. Kyogo will be a very important man that night at Celtic Park, and I just think that Celtic need Kyogo Furuhashi, and he proved it today.
Maybe a timely reminder, Gordon, just for anyone who did think, people, he's slowing down a bit and he's not scoring and he's not as involved, and then maybe it is time then, if there's an offer there, all that sort of stuff that Hugh alludes to during the week. Arguably one of his best performances of the season.
Oh yeah, he was as sharp as attack this afternoon. Added to that, he gets 2 goals.
Martin Boyle has had to go and get treatment for a bloody nose as well at Easter Road. It's all the rage. Sorry,
I'm glad I'm not there. But
waterlogged
I don't think they would consider selling him in a million reasons for letting him go. That would be really silly, especially the way Celtic are just now. Look, all players take a dip in form. Of course they do. Kyogo's no different from anyone else, but he's got quality written all over him. Showed it today. He looked like a guy that enjoyed his football today. For me.
Correct. He was loving it out there, and he was working his socks off in both halves of the field. He's not content just to see if he can steal a goal or 2. He's back there working, helping the defence, doing everything.
Yeah, he looked sharp, Mark, didn't he? Everyone's always known his biggest strength is his movement. You could see that with the goals that were scored, both of them.
Well, I think he's developed. Brendan Rodgers said there he was a winger in Japan, he played there, but his profile isn't beat people. He's kind of turned into a 6-yard kind of penalty box player here. A lot of his goals, or the majority of his goals for Celtic, by design of course, from Postecoglou and Rodgers, has came for that 6-yard box run, and he's got plenty of tap-ins, or he'll play in the shoulder when Celtic are trying to build up. But today it was just different for him. He had that freedom, knowing that Ida was taking up 2 centre halves, and it was just allowing them that space to get more involved in the game. And what player doesn't enjoy that? Of course you enjoy that, getting as many touches of the ball as possible.
I thought his movement, Mark, for the 2 goals was excellent, I've got to say, especially the first one. It sums everything up about him. He leaves the space at front post, and it's all about the timing. He knows that Alistair Johnson's
the ball in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He knows Alistair Johnson's taking that and he's going to whip it. He times that, he kills the defender, and it's an easy finish for him. Same with the second one. Ingles does brilliantly, whips it across. He's in front of the defender again. Yes, the goalkeeper should have saved it, but take nothing away from Kyogo. 2 goals.
I think when you compare him to last season, he's probably at the same goals tally as last season at this stage, and he finishes with 20. So I think if you're a Celtic striker, you're returning 20 plus goals season after season after season, you're going to be doing pretty well. So although he had a slow start, he's just right where he wants to be just now, and he'll score more than 8 goals from now to the end of the season.
I know he gave away the penalty, but Alistair Johnston again, the creation of that goal, Mark, proving to be so important.
It was, well, just the way that they pieced it together, Celtic, but just the understanding of the positions. Celtic sometimes it's like a chess game. They move you out of position because they know specifically where they want to pass the ball, and that's what will please Brendan Rodgers. The involvement of Ida, the support run from McGregor, but how hard that ball is to play, by the way. Round 2 defenders, incredible, and he weights it well, but he needs his striker to read it and get on the end of it. It was a fantastic goal. You know what they say, best Celtic right back since.
Danny McGregor.
He's got a bit of work to do. He's got a bit of work to do. Once he gets to the last 16s of the Champions League,
funny, because obviously we had a bit of fun on the show this week, didn't we? Because in a response to Brendan Rodgers, hold on,
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hibs 1, Motherwell 0, and it is Martin Boyle. He's hitting a nice patch of form, the experienced man. He scored, of course, that double against Rangers, and he has opened the scoring here. There weren't many goal scoring chances early on. Jordan Abita, who came on, he crosses it. Martin Boyle with the low finish, and it's Hibs 1, Motherwell 0.
Well, take it back a bit, Abita. He is decent going forward, I suppose. Defensively suspect.
VAR check for offside, so we'll have a look. But Jordan Abita did well.
Yeah, but Boyle is on form. He was terrific against Rangers, and to follow up if he gets a goal this afternoon, if it stands, then he's the man in form.
I mean, he is sharp, Gordon, so he doesn't always have to move early, and sometimes might look offside when he's not.
Yeah, so he was excellent against Rangers, you've got to say. I think he was Hibs' best player. He's got a new lease of life again. He looks sharp. He looks like he's got that spark back. And I'll just wonder if this goal will be called for offside. I'm hoping it is, Gordon, but fingers crossed. Who's there? Fraser will probably give us an update after the decision made.
Goal given. Hibs 1, Motherwell 0. So a good start for the Hibees.
As things stand, the Hibees go into the top 6. Now, who among us would have thought that was the case at the start of the season when they were bottom of the Premiership table, and the talk was that the manager, David Gray, might not be there in the morning.
Be a real frustrating one for Stuart Kettlewell, Gordon, because I'm absolutely certain, expecting Martin Boyle to sneak in at the back post is probably up there in his top 3 defensive instructions ahead of this game.
It's poor defending. Take nothing away from Hibs. A beacon on the left hand side, good play, just whips it across, but you've got defenders in there. You've got to defend that better. It's the easiest tap in Martin Boyle will have.
Yep, Hibs 1, Motherwell 0, 29 or so on the clock now, and it is the Hibees who take the lead. No real goal scoring chances early on, but he only needed 1. It's an interesting resurgence, Mark, he's having at the moment.
Hibs needed it, by the way, because he's, for years now, they've depended on him, not just for his pace, but his goal scoring, his leadership, and he went off the boil and injuries, but he's right back in form at the minute, and it's no coincidence. Off the boil.
What he did there? Off the boil.
It's not coincidence that David Gray's side have had an upturn in form just at the same time as him, and they're rocketing up the league now.
Remind us of your teaser, please, Hugh.
Yeah, in the spirit of the traitors, can you name the last 6 players to make at least 10 competitive appearances for both Hearts?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Is there a phrase about Leith buses? I don't know if that works the same, but anyway, it's Hibs 2, Motherwell 0, and it's Nectar Triantis, another one who's been in good form. I think he got sent off when Motherwell went to Easter Road and got a result earlier in the season, but he's come back stronger in this one and has scored. Drove into the box, a good low finish across the goalkeeper, in off the post, and Hibs look like they could run away with this. 2
down last Sunday against Rangers, did not lose the match. 2 up against Motherwell. How could they lose the match from this distance?
Motherwell are all over the place here. All over the place. Giving the ball away cheaply, getting punished. They are in serious trouble. They need to steady the ship here. Look, 2-0's not a disaster just now, because the next goal, we've seen it many times, is so important, but they've got to steady the ship at the back.
And you can't blame the new goalkeeper. He's just been left exposed.
No, but I think your concern would be, if you were a Motherwell fan, what you said, Gordon, you go 2-0 down. Okay, if you show some sign of attacking intent and you think, been a bit unlucky here, but it's looking the opposite, looking like this could get ugly. So they just need to be careful. A crucial 15 minutes for Stuart Keltwell's side to get in 2-0 at least, because Hibs got their tails up, smell blood, and they will go for Motherwell to finish this game off.
Yeah, Motherwell giving it away, I think.
Oh, cheaply. I'll just see it coming in my phone there. It's terrible.
Ewan Wilson, not particularly clever, tries to let the ball come across him. He could have just taken a simple touch. It allows Hibs to nip in and drive forward, and the finish is a good one. Goalkeeper couldn't do anything about it, and this could be a sore afternoon for Motherwell, but a great one for Hibs. Hibs 2, Motherwell 0.
Well, all the enthusiasm that engendered Motherwell's performance last week against Aberdeen has gone. I'm quite surprised by it, but Hibs
it gets worse for Motherwell, because the captain who's been out for ages, Paul McGinn,
pulled up.
He's come back and he's down, and it doesn't look like it was a tackle, and he's going off. Motherwell's injuries this season have been unbelievable, Gordon, and just when he looks quite upset, Paul McGinn.
It was a long-term injury, wasn't it, Gordon? We've been desperate for him to come back. He's a captain, he's a very good player, he's a big part of Motherwell at the back. That's a massive blow for him. I feel for him. Obviously a good friend of mine in Germany, and I really
funny do. Ever since Hugh met him, his injury concerns have ramped up.
I had a good chat with him that day.
It's a real sore one, marking for him. He's got his head in his hands.
Yeah,
he knows he's been out for ages and came back, and actually don't think any suggestion of rushed back, because he had to sit on the bench about 3-4 games in a row while Motherwell carried on with their usual back line. But he's gone off again. He looks really distressed.
What was his last injury gone? Can you remember?
You have to feel for him, because you're right. I think Motherwell have managed that injury well. There's no point in just rushing players back into the squad when they've had a long-term injury. So he would have had plenty of training time under his belt. He would have been involved in the first team, obviously, in a number of games, but not got on, and now he's back. You never like seeing that when players go down the way he has, and you can hear he's a bit distraught about it. So a real
he was out for 3 months.
Yeah,
it's a thigh problem, and
well, it's his thigh again.
Kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
It's his thigh again, Gordon, and see, to be honest with you, that may just rule him out for the rest of the season. It's a massive blow for him. It is a massive blow, and he knows himself. But he's in good hands there with David Henderson. Terrific physio.
You love him, didn't you?
I love him. He looked after me.
You get him a shout every week on this.
Absolutely brilliant. Top class physio. Scotland physio as well. So he looks after the big stars like myself.
Is he the Scotland physio?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
He is in this morning's newspapers, Paul McGinn, talking about how he didn't feel part of the dressing room when he was injured with that torn thigh initially, and now it looks like it could be it has something's reoccurred anyway. It does look like it's something similar. It might be different, but nevertheless he's gone off, and that's a huge blow for Motherwell. Dan Casey's come on. He's bandaged up from the other night at Rugby Park round the head, the old sort of Terry Butcher look, and I think he was struggling for fitness as well, because he probably might have started this game. He generally does. So Motherwell walking winded a little bit at the back.
Well, the McGinn family, they take it all so seriously. Stephen, John, Paul, and I'm sorry to hear him being as distraught as you've told us he was, Gordon, because we don't know he's in the twilight of his career, but they're such a proud family. They just hate not being involved and doing their bit.
Yeah, it's not a great place for the Motherwell lads, Edinburgh, and now they've got a double header with St Johnstone coming up, Cup and then League.
I think his contract's up at the end of the season as
Paul
well.
McGinn's.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Motherwell would.
Oh, you'd not be letting him out of the building.
But it's never easy that when you get to the
what age is he?
The age that he's at, and then
what age is he going?
Missed
30 plus.
Missed the vast majority. He's 34.
Yeah, 34. Aye.
But
Listen, when you get over 30.
he's still very fit. Still very fit. A lot of football left in Paul McGinn.
But at clubs, though, in fairness, you have to obviously analyse everything. Doesn't matter about his natural fitness in terms of running power, but if 34-year-olds are picking up injuries here and there, you've got to gauge if it's worthwhile.
Mark, you played a career without any knees.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And retired at 32.
So I was gauged that I was not worth another contract. So that's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know how you
Clubs,
got your second one. Never mind your last one.
because I was playing against guys like Ronaldinho and that. You wouldn't know.
Oh,
anything about that, would you?
Go again. I can't stand this. Do
You
know
know how I got my second contract? That's how. 'Cause
You do
I was
never-
Champions League.
You do never
Remember?
listen to understand. You just listen to reply. That's what I say about you all the time.
I don't know what that means.
It's one of his sayings. There's still room for another place on the podium, Hugh. So remind us of your question.
Many we got, mate.
In the spirit of the traitors, can you name the last 6 players to make at least 10 competitive appearances for both Hearts and Hibs? The jam tarts, the cabbage and ribs.
Come on, I told you. 4 Scotsmen, 1 Englishman, 1 Irishman.
Oh, here's another one.
The Englishman was the one who scored for Exeter a bit earlier on this afternoon.
Is he one?
Oh, aye. I will be one.
They've got 4. Anton Deck have got 4 so far.
How many have we get? 6?
Two more to go.
There's
no,
one
struggling.
more space. We've got a first place and a second. We're still looking for a third, so come on. At Clyde SSB, get the tweeting done and try and come up with the right answers. We're talking about this week, of course. It was all about Brendan Rodgers. He asked the fans to be patient. He said it was disrespectful that they were singing Kieran Tierney's name, so the fans responded by singing the name of every former Celtic player, apart from Mark Wilson.
Yeah, missed out.
So it looks like you don't have a song. So we asked on Twitter if people would write you one.
Oh,
quite
lovely.
interesting choices coming in.
Even
Must be.
what'd you call him? What'd you call him again?
And
Nathan
none,
Evans.
Nathan.
none that we can read out.
No, I'm guessing that's not positive for me.
It could be a good start. We've got
Turkish Ten Hag says Mark
He's
Wilson,
on my pillow.
Celtic's right back pride at Parkhead. He turned the tide. 48 minutes. The Rangers shook. A miss kick goal, but we don't look. Oh, Marky Wilson, green and white, sent us dancing through the night. Sasa watched it hit the net. Mark's miss kick we won't forget.
That's to the tune of what? Because there's a lot of lyrics in there.
That's more of a poem
I
rather
know,
than a
it
song.
needs to be a catchy,
Who cares? It's a glowing tribute.
It is beautiful, Hugh. I'm well chuffed for that. So thank you. Who'd you say that was again?
The Turkish Ten Hag.
Well done, Turkish. Love that.
Surely somebody
See
can
the
write a
support
wee
out there.
song, Mark.
What was your song then? Did you have one?
Daza. Say daza.
No. It was Sacked in the Morning.
Shut your face, you.
Just awful.
That wasn't your song, was it?
I didn't like it.
Daza.
I was just in the nightclub.
Surely nowadays someone can fire that into AI, Chat GPT or whatever, and get a song.
Get a tune.
Get a song made
you
for
could.
Mark Wilson.
My name.
In fact, leave that to me. I'll do that tonight. And then
We've got him on a pillow.
SW22 N85 says Wilson.
well,
GT.
that was sung, I think, by the Breaking fans, unfortunately.
And Deirdre.
And I wouldn't say Airdrie. I think I put them in a better place than that.
There you go. Surely we can get an AI version by the end of the show. That would be the hope. See if we can do that. Right, Hibs are in cruise control. They by the way, has the English answer to the teaser scored again, or is that still the first goal on the video printer?
I don't know.
Has he got a double?
I think that's 2. That's 2
That's
for him.
Doss.
I think it might be.
Because he's got brothers.
Yeah, because
What
the
an
first,
afternoon he's
the first
having.
one was 23 minutes and that's 40, so he scored twice.
What an afternoon.
The
he's having.
twins. EastEnders, come on. I've given you an idea. There you go.
It's not your best joke, I have to say.
It's not a joke, it's a clue.
Yeah, but his first name's there, so it kind of removes the EastEnders reference.
Where's his
Or you think he's the third brother in the family?
Yeah.
Doesn't he look much like them, let me tell you. Still no goals between St Mirren and Dundee United. Just the referee getting a bit of stick, David Dickinson. Adebayoga slipped. The ref gave a foul, but there was nowhere near him, so you don't know what you're doing. Did they ever sing that to you?
You don't know what you're doing?
sing that one as well,
off the
no?
top of my
I
head.
was a manager.
I don't know what you're doing. Nah, those songs are a bit outdated now. It's very rare you hear you don't know what you're doing. Or what's the other ones that are outdated?
No, don't. Please, just don't.
We've got number one. And there goes.
No
remember that?
Where did you sing that?
Do you remember that?
Primary school.
Oh, times it, and then it was number.
I didn't get to number 11.
Just for clarity, did Mark Wilson just ask a Glasgow in the West football show for outdated football songs?
Yes.
Yeah,
thanks for opening that can of worms. The open line.
I mean that we can talk about
later. Don't forget.
Fans have got more inventive though with songs, and
I might need to round off the teaser in probably round about now, to be honest. Do we have a third place? Still not.
The open line is going to be lively tonight.
The Scotsman, the 4 Scotsmen. Oh, I think still no one. We're going to have to go for it, Hugh.
Okay. We're struggling.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The last 6 players to make at least 10 competitive appearances for both Hearts and Hibs were Dimitri Mitchell,
Exeter double goal scorer today, Englishman.
Danny Swanson, James Keatings, Alan Mabry,
yes,
Paul Hartley, and Mikey Stewart. Did you see his polo neck last night on television?
No.
Bit oversized.
Oh, heavens above.
I saw lots of people say it looks like one of those white collars you used to get.
Yeah, if you'd broken your neck
accident.
Yeah.
But anyway, well done. I'm surprised that you got Alan Mabry but didn't get Danny Swanson.
No idea.
My master's teammate as well, Danny Swanson. I didn't get him.
There you go. Well done to Matondo, who was in second place. Nobody in third place. Not even 3 people got it all right. Loads of you got individual answers, or 4 or 5, but the only people who got all 6 were Matondo in second, and the winner, John Aitken. Well done to you, John. You knew your stuff. You know your stuff. And there's a good Who Am I coming up in the second half. How's it going to work this year? Can we just cards on the table? Are you still going to cheat on the Who Am I?
If I possibly can, yeah, but I'm not cheating this way.
I thought you were a new man.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
falling into old habits.
Look, I can't change everything in a flick of a light.
You've got a new face, new hair.
Okay. I've not got new hair yet. That's to come.
Stephen Hayhoe sent in one that says it's tricky to give you the perfect chant without knowing the melody that you're after. But apparently AI to the tune of Que Sera Sera has given it a go of Mark Wilson. That's not great. It's not a great start.
No.
Running down the wing, Mark Wilson. Hear the Celtic sing. He's got the skill, he's got the speed, it's true. Wow.
Yeah.
Mark Wilson, we are so proud of you.
That's a man that certainly knows his stuff.
That's AI.
Oh, is that AI? Well, it certainly does know its stuff, AI. I like that. By the way, we'll get the Celtic fans singing that in no time.
He says if we want to give him a different melody, he could maybe fine tune that.
Put a bit of Queen. Queen have got a good melody.
What sort of football song has
Can anybody see what
We Will Rock You?
We Will Rock You.
Aye.
Running down the wing.
Right, that's absolutely plenty. Because we've got half-time whistle gone in the Championship. Falkirk against Queen's Park. Here is Roger Hanna.
Yeah, Falkirk nil, Queen's Park nil. There's no doubt Gordon, the leader, being fine-tuned in their first game for over a fortnight. They haven't really been threatening. Callum Ferry's goal in Queen's Park looking quite comfortable at the break. Eamon Brophy making his debut after that loan move from Ross County. A couple of early glimpses of goal, first from a Calvin Miller cross and then from a pass from the Falkirk skipper Cole Donaldson, but he fired them past the same post, not really threatening Ferry at all. Louis Longridge, he then took a booking from referee Chris Graham when he took down Calvin Miller in an advanced position down the Falkirk left. Falkirk then off target again. Brad Spencer on the stretch after the best passing move of the game. But Queen's Park are in this game. Jack Turner, he had a shot from the edge of the box held by Nicky Hogarth after a loose pass by Aidan Nisbet. Miller, he was inches past the post at the other end after Nicola Ujdur gave the ball away carelessly in what was probably Queen's Park's biggest scare of the first half. But the Spiders did finish the half on the front foot, and their skipper Tom Thomas had a shot deflected just wide of Hogarth's near post right at the end of the half. Be a tough team talk for John McGlynn at half time. He needs to inject more energy into the Bairns. At half time, nil, Queen's Park nil.
So, nothing separating the sides there. I suspect we're about to hear a similar story from Paisley. It will be a different one from Easter Road though, and it will be the home fans who are the happiest. 5 minutes added on. Nicky Cadden forced off with that bloody nose, possibly a broken nose, but it was his replacement, Jordan Obita, who set up the first goal for Hibs. It is half time in Paisley though. David Friel.
Half time, Gordon, is a similar story to Rodgers' game. St Mirren 0, Dundee United 0. It's been a good game. St Mirren been on top. They probably feel they should be ahead as well, but United are trying to have a goal when they do get out, and you would never rule out a trademark strong second half from Jim Goodwin's side. They've come on strong so many games, but it could have been behind after just 4 minutes here. St Mirren, what a chance it was. Richard Taylor completely unmarked from a corner. He headed towards goal, but Lucas Stevenson cleared it off the line. Greg Kelty then had a shot that was deflected over. It was all St Mirren for the first 15 minutes, and Dundee United were hemmed in. They did settle a bit after that. Kevin Holt, is a guy a defender, but does got on the end of things up on the other end. A powerful drive saved by Zach Hemming. Vico Sevelj also had a shot deflected over. Jim Goodwin's side's assist began to threaten, but St Mirren still had the bulk of the pressure. Roland Adoui, he got in a great position, but his volley just didn't catch it right. He almost sliced it. Jack Walton was a wee bit worried, but it did creep past the post. United are playing a 7th game in 20 days. They do look a bit leggy. St Mirren have looked a lot fresher. Walton had to make a really good save from Greg Kelty's low drive. Got a bit scrappy after that. Referee David Dickinson, he's been busy in the last 10 minutes with a couple of spats to sort out, but we did get back to the full football, and Walton again made a save from Killian Phillips' header. So the game in the balance, St Mirren on top, but don't rule out United. Half time, St Mirren 0, Dundee United 0.
Still no half time whistle from Easter Road, so we'll do that next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
We gave you 2 half-time reports before the break. Here is your third and final from Fraser Wishart, who is at Easter Road. Or is he? He's kind of there. Can you hear us, Fraser? Doesn't sound great to me. I can hear some background noise. What we'll do is give you a full roundup of the half-time scores, and we'll get back to Fraser in just a minute or two. He can send us over his thoughts from the first half. In terms of these scores, there's not that many games today in the Scottish Premiership. We had one earlier kick-off that finished Ross County 1, Celtic 4. In the end, at the break, Hibs 2, Motherwell 0 and St Mirren 0, Dundee United 0. In the Championship, just one game as well, Falkirk 0, Queen's Park 0. In League 1, Alloa 0, Queen of the South 1. I think, was there a few postponements today perhaps, or for some reason these have not updated. You've got East 5-0, Clyde 0 in League 2. Edinburgh City 0, Peterhead 1, Forfar 0, Elgin City 0 as well. Down south it is the FA Cup, so I'll just give you a couple of selected ones. Liverpool 4, Accrington Stanley 0 is finished. Leicester 6, QPR 2. Chelsea 1-0 up against Morecambe at half time.
Brighton 2 up at Norwich.
Yeah, your Seagulls, Hugh, are leading the way there as well. So we'll leave it there. I won't give you every single FA Cup result. We will get the second halves up and running next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Group. Big brands, great choice, a good deal, better.
Hey, with Mary Ups, Mary, tell us how that went.
Yeah, came out real hungry. Had to be quick to save the last few. Bagels, that is.
Warburton's protein thin bagels?
Yeah, right. Kept my eye on the prize, as I knew we'd bring the heat later, in the toaster.
How about the rest of the team, though?
Yeah, great support from Cosmo Manchego. Prosciutto played a blinder as well, so got pretty tasty out there at times.
Sandwich of 2 halves, would you say?
Yeah, 100%, and 8 grams of protein. Great result.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
The protein range from Warburton's, bakers born and bred.
Football, it has its ups and downs. There's the players who kiss the badge and kiss the club goodbye, right after you've splashed out £100 to get their name on your kit. And the A-list striker who always sticks it in row Z. The good news is the Ladbrokes Acca gives you auto insurance, free bets back and big odds boosts. So whatever else lets you down, it won't be your Acca. It's a gaffer of an Acca from Ladbrokes.
18 plus, online and mobile. Minimum odds apply. Maximum 1 to 3 £10 free bets per customer per day. Up to £50 of boosted odds. Restrictions and T&Cs apply. BeGambleAware.org. Take time to think.
Football, it has its ups and downs. There's the players who kiss the badge and kiss the club goodbye, right after you've splashed out £100 to get their name on your kit. And the A-list striker who always sticks it in row Z. The good news is the Ladbrokes Acca gives you auto insurance, free bets back and big odds boosts. So whatever else lets you down, it won't be your Acca. It's a gaffer of an Acca from Ladbrokes.
18 plus, online and mobile. Minimum odds apply. Maximum 1 to 3 £10 free bets per customer per day. Up to £50 of boosted odds. Restrictions and T&Cs apply. BeGambleAware.org. Take time to think.
At William Hill Vegas, we're bursting with entertainment. Introducing V-Play, where revealing rewards couldn't be easier. Play your usual slots and table games featuring the Vplay icon. And when the Vplay bar's full, you're ready to spin the wheel for cash prizes. Vplay, only at William Hill, Vegas. Bursting with entertainment. For GBP online accounts, use cash balance to play. Chance to spin and win prizes from 30p to £1,000 randomly awarded. Spin and claim within 7 days. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gamble aware. The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Group. Big brands, great choice, a good deal better. The fastest goals, the expert opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here. It's half-time in the 3 o'clock games. We don't have many of them, but Hibs against Motherwell are where most of the goals have gone in. All of the goals, in fact. Let's try Fraser Wishart again, see if he can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you. Hibernian 2, Motherwell 0. You say all the goals, but apart from that, there wasn't much to talk about. It's not been a classic, other than 5 minutes in the middle of the half where Hibs scored 2 from Martin Boyle and Nectar Triantes. Nearly got a third, but it's been a pretty poor game from both sides. Nothing early stage to talk about. Both sides cautious, slowing the build up. Really pre-season tempo to the game, and then burst into life. But sadly only just for 5 minutes. When 27 minutes they opened the scoring. Hibernian, it was sub Jordan beat it on for Nicky Cadden, who's broken his nose. Did really well on the left hand side, just made himself a yard and drove the ball low and hard across the goal. A simple tap in from Martin Boyle. The strikers love goals like that, just from a couple of yards. 2-0 in 29 minutes. Motherwell gave the ball away as they did routinely in the first half, inside their own half. Dylan Levitt latched onto it, set Triantis away inside right, driving into the box. Not a challenge from a Motherwell defender, but a good low finish from the midfield player across Mayer and in off the far post. A blow for Motherwell. Skipper Paul McGinn limped off. He was really upset, maybe a recurrence of that thigh injury, and it almost got worse for Motherwell a minute later when it was nearly 3-0. Nectar Triantis at the back post. He was stretching, but he should have done better than maybe fire the ball over the bar and into the back of the net from a couple of yards. Hibs did dominate possession, but in general the game fell back into the pattern of the early stages. Hibs a better team, but neither keepers really had a save to make, and there'll need to be a big change around here if Motherwell to get anything from this game. Hibs not been wonderful, but very comfortably ahead at half-time. Half-time here, Hibernian 2, Motherwell 0.
At William Hill, Vegas, we're bursting with entertainment. Introducing Vplay, where revealing rewards couldn't be easier. Play your usual slots and table games featuring the Vplay icon. And when the Vplay bar's full, you're ready to spin the wheel for cash prizes. Vplay, only at William Hill, Vegas. Bursting with entertainment. For GBP online accounts, use cash balance to play. Chance to spin and win prizes from 30p to £1,000 randomly awarded. Spin and claim within 7 days. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gamble aware.
Anyway, back for Stuart Kettlewell's side. Fraser, you know, been forced into those changes as well. I can't imagine he'd be feeling too good about the way things have gone so far.
No, they've been poor, really, really poor. They get one touch. It was Stephen O'Donnell latching onto a long diagonal ball inside the Hibs box, and the fact that I can remember it just shows you how little it'd been. I don't know how many times Jordan Smith has touched the ball. Hibs haven't been wonderful. Motherwell really poor, just giving the ball away. Really slow tempo to the game. They've looked sluggish. In fact, I think he'll make a couple of changes at half time. I saw Maswanisi and Caleta make their way off the pitch, so he's already made one change with Casey on and forced with Paul McGinn, but he's going to bring on the pace and the energy of Maswanisi and Caleta on that right hand side as well to try and get something from this game. But to be honest with you, no, Casey and Blaney are also on yellow cards, and with Boyle making these dangerous runs in behind as well, they're going to have to be very, very careful not to pick up another one and then be a red card. But say Hibs haven't been wonderful, but they're comfortable ahead, and there has to be a huge change around in the pattern of this game if Motherwell to get a couple of goals and get a point here.
They might not have been wonderful, but the Hibs story is starting to take on fairy tale proportions, because there was a stage of the season when they were bottom of the table. As things stand this evening, they will leapfrog Dundee and St Mirren. They'll go into the top 6. They will be 14 points away from the bottom club, St Johnstone. That's my definition of a transformation.
It's a long way back for Motherwell. Never say never. We witnessed it this afternoon. Ross County come out second half, change one or two things tactically, get back in the game. Okay, it wasn't enough. Celtic ran out comfortable winners. They need the next goal. That's without saying. I know that's easy to turn round 2-0 down at half time. They need the next goal. They need it quick. They need to give themselves a bit of hope. Just listening to Fraser there, he's seen it. this afternoon, and he's not holding out any hopes for Motherwell getting back in. Obviously a big blow to Motherwell with Paul McGinn, the captain, getting off again with that same injury. We wish him all the best in the world, but I just see Hibs going on, adding to the scoreline.
Okay, let's get these second half started then.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. New school year, new bugs. Get advice on infections and viruses at your local pharmacy.
By contrast though, very much in the balance in Paisley, David Friel.
Yes, it is, Gordon, and we're almost ready to go. They're not messing about here yet. I think for United, St Mirren have dominated in terms of shots, dominated in terms of corners, so it's just about Dundee United trying to get some attacks and get Sam Dalby into the game. But St Mirren, they'll just keep plugging away, and hopefully they'll be hoping that their pressure pays off and they can get the opener.
I suppose you always know that threat's there, Mark Wilson. It's not that Sam Dalby's extremely involved in every minute of Dundee United's build-up play, but if the ball comes into the box, there's a good chance he will stick it away. Has Kyogo caught him? Actually, he has. So they're both on 10 goals at the top of the Premiership goal scoring charts now.
But he is a goal scorer, instinctive, got a good habit of being in the right place at the right time, and he's got players that generally put the ball into the box as well. So he'll be looking for a bit of that, ferry off one side, strain off the other, and looking just to sniff out a chance. And that might be all it takes in that game. Just one goal to separate the sides, I think, will win that. I don't know which way it will go right enough.
I still think it'll be a draw. I think two teams that would be quite happy with a point, in my opinion. I think Dundee United have had a hard sort of a fixture list. Obviously St Mirren at home, they'll be trying to press that advantage forward, but on a day when you're playing against a team that's sitting in third place, maybe a point. I think that if Mark's right there in the sense that if there's a goal, I think that'll be the winner, but I've got a funny feeling both teams will share the points there.
Well, still plenty of time for that to change then between St Mirren and Dundee United. Level there. It's a long way back for Motherwell, with Hibs leading 2-0 at Easter Road. And in our featured championship game, in fact, is it the only championship game today?
Yes.
Falkirk 0, Queen's Park 0 as well. Plenty more to come this afternoon. We are continuing to look back on events in Dingwall. We are reflecting on the briefing given by new Rangers CEO Patrick Stewart, where he threw the club's support behind Philippe Clement, although acknowledging that he couldn't offer cast iron guarantees. Spoke about the January transfer window, says one, maybe two players would come in, but not more than that. So you're not that far away, probably about 50 minutes from getting your thoughts over to us on the phones. Look ahead to the game against St Johnstone tomorrow as well, so get the number written down, give us a call very soon. Savelj, who is actually Dundee United's best midfielder this season, arguably has scored, but he was flagged offside, came in at the back post, and it's going to be checked as you would expect, but as things stand, still goalless in Paisley.
He has been a good signing because he started the season on the right side of defence when Jim was playing maybe a wee bit different, or Strain wasn't in the side, and I just thought he must be a right back then, but he's quite clearly a centre midfielder and he's done well.
That goal does not stand, so you're fine. Right, I really like the look of this question, Hugh, so let's get stuck in.
Okay.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played with Marius Zaliukas and Stevie Crawford. I have been managed by Malky Mackay and Alec McLeish. I've won the Challenge Cup and I scored in the Champions League. Who am I? So, played with Marius Zaliukas and Stevie Crawford, managed by Malky Mackay and Big Ek, won the Challenge Cup and scored in the Champions League. Who am I?
Good question. Gordon DL, just be honest with us. You're a new man. Do you know the answer?
Right.
Are you about to cheat with whatever takes place in the next half an hour?
How could I cheat? Seriously,
you've said this before.
But how? Seriously, I know I'm bad, but I couldn't even cheat at that one.
I gave an answer right away there, but
what was it?
Incorrect.
You can tell us then if it's incorrect.
Stephen Thompson, I thought.
Incorrect. Let's see how we go. At Clyde SSB, it's a race. Who am I? Who is he? Who are they? The question is up and running. get the answers into us at Clyde SSB and do it quicker than everybody else. So come on. Gordon Dalziel, he does cheat at them, but he's also beneath that is quite good at piecing them all together, we think. So let's see if you can beat him, and more importantly beat everybody else. Please get your thinking caps on. Want to hear a bit more from Brendan Rodgers? Well,
I think we should
await the games catching fire in the second half. He wants to speak about the commitment of the players and the fans today.
And one thing I will say today is the commitment of the supporters. As I said to the guys before the game, there's many reasons why we want to win the game, but I know a group of supporters that jumped onto a boat at 3:30 this morning to travel across, to then drive up to here that we drove yesterday, and they were going to stand in the freezing cold and watch a game. And I said, that is commitment. So the very bare minimum, we have to match that commitment, and we do. Then our quality and everything else will take us through the game. So brilliant for the supporters to be here in awful weather, brilliant for the players, and a good day for us all round.
Yeah, I don't think that's just sentimentality on the part of the manager. That's a fact. If he knows of supporters from Ireland who left at 3:30 a.m, come over the water and then go all the way to the furthest outpost in the Premiership, that is commitment. At the end of a week in which Brendan has had his difficulties with some Celtic supporters, and the response that he received on Wednesday night, the Dundee United game, I thought was clever, spontaneous, and drew a line under that particular episode. But I said to you at full time, one of the things that must be pleasing for Brendan Rodgers is that they have rewarded the fans who are there in sub-zero temperatures, and the journey back, and I hope everyone is safe, the journey back will be very difficult, because my daughter in the Highlands tells me that a lot of roads are impassable and it's a difficult day there. So the players rewarded the fans, and the fans are happy that they travelled all that way to see the team win what was a classic Ross County Celtic game until the latter stages, when Ross County folded under Celtic's weight of pressure.
Yeah, he's a master at that. You know, he understands, you know, the position he was in when he came out and spoke his mind last week, and I don't think there was anything wrong with it. I quite liked it. In fact, that he obviously then has to bring everybody back together, and the first steps to that was midweek when he had a wee bit of a laugh, but then he has to really back it up by showing his appreciation for the fans. And Hugh's right, and he's right. A great effort from the fans. And well called out by the manager.
Hibs score again, but it is offside, and that decision has been confirmed by VAR. So a let off for Motherwell 1 minute after the restart. They made some changes as well. Andy Halliday hooked, getting ready for Monday night's Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard, along with Ewan Wilson, who's had a really tough afternoon. Maswanise and Kaleta coming on. So Motherwell making the changes, almost going 3 behind, but a fairly clear and simple offside decision.
Sounds like just a rank bad day at work for Motherwell, and that's not to take away from Hibs. As I say, that's a story that's gathering pace, and for David Gray, it's one of the great turnarounds from bottom of the league to top 6.
Good answers coming in on the teaser already. So remind us of your question, Hugh, because the Who Am I always brings about all sorts of guesses.
I played with Marius Zaliukas and Stevie Crawford. I have been managed by Malky Mackay and Alec McLeish. I have won the Challenge Cup and scored in the Champions League. Who am I?
Proud thinks it's Lee McCulloch.
No.
Mark thinks it's Ross McCormick.
No, sir.
And Kyle, David, Alan Boy, Greg's Gardens all think it is Paul Hartley.
No.
Okay.
Any correct answers?
I'm not telling you that at this juncture.
Mark's the second goal, but it's still not there. But he's hanging in there.
What was your second guess?
Andy Webster.
Correct, I'm afraid. Incorrect from Mark Wilson. At Clyde SSB, the race is on in that second half teaser. We've heard from Brendan Rodgers on today's match, a 4-1 win for Celtic. Celtic fans were asking for your thoughts on the phones in about 45 to 50 minutes time. You two just not even bothered now.
No, because it's
sorry, did you say he was an internationalist?
I didn't mention international football.
That's wrong again.
Oh, 3. Right, I'm it.
It is not.
You only get 3 lives.
It is not Stephen Whittaker.
3 lives and out. Right, Dazzler's jotting down.
He's wrong as well. It's too long a name. I could see you writing it down. Too long.
Okay.
Right, are we clear
No,
there?
it's not even particularly short, but I was just watching him write it and I couldn't read it. I just knew it was wrong.
He's going again.
Yes. He's got it now. He's got it now.
Yeah. I was going to say him.
Okay, let's leave it there. Hibs 2, Motherwell 0. They had the ball in the net for a third time, but an easy offside decision given. Still nothing really. Dundee United looking a bit better. Mark, you would expect some sort of reaction after the break?
Well, you would have been poor in the first period, and especially when they're sitting there in third place. They've had, so many good performances this year. That will disappoint Jim Goodwin. But it's a difficult place to go. You only have to look a couple of weeks ago when Rangers were there, and we all know what happened in that situation. St Mirren are big, physical, they make it difficult for you. So I think if it's going to go either way, I'll back up what I said earlier. 1 goal will win that game.
Draw written all over it. It's a draw written all. Do you know where I'm surprised we've not had a goal? Falkirk Stadium.
Well, Callum Morrison's just clipped the outside of the post with a shot from around 20 yards. So
is Brophy still on? Yeah.
Because that was your tip.
That's my tip. Yep.
You went all out.
What made you so sure of that?
I just think he's a guy that I think he, especially the way Falkirk play, they'll create chances. They're a good footballing team, and I think at that level he will score goals.
I just saw a good clip from the FA Cup there, so I think it was Chelsea Morecambe, and there's no VAR because it's the FA Cup. It is at Stamford Bridge. When that sort of stuff happens up here, people say, it's only in Scotland we would do that and not a VAR. Well, that's kind of the way it sometimes works as well down the road. So no VAR, penalty taken, goalkeeper miles off his line, makes the save and play on like the old days. Whereas of course up in Dingwall, Jordan Amisa was off his line. It was spotted correctly.
Is Chelsea winning that one?
2-0 up now.
Yeah, listen, having played at a bridge, there are no easy games there.
The best clip from the FA Cup today, they're saying the goal of the tournament's already been wrapped up by Lyndon Dykes.
Oh, I've seen it.
People.
I've seen it.
Birmingham City, sort of Ibrahimovic-esque.
Yeah, beautiful, good goal.
Kind of flicks it over somebody's head.
It doesn't matter the opposition. You've got
in.
to give him credit. It's a very good goal indeed.
I mean, he's now playing at obviously not as high a level as maybe you would like on paper from a Scotland perspective, but generally does a job and would be in future squads, you would imagine. Speaking of Scotland, that was good news today. Did you see that Aaron Hickey has signed a new deal at Brentford?
Oh really?
I mean, that at least suggests that he should be back at some point after what feels like the world's longest ever hamstring injury, and they obviously see enough there to think he can come back from it and have extended his stay, so that's good news in that front.
Well, definite quality in him, no doubt about that. He doesn't get himself to that level without it. He just needs to be careful with his injury, that that can be something that reoccurs. So he's got the best of care down there, obviously, the best of rehab. He just needs to take his time. I guess he'll be itching to get back, but don't want to come back too soon. It reoccurs again.
I don't think soon.
Back too soon.
I don't
How
think
long's he been out
for 15 months.
Yeah,
I've never heard. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's obviously been setbacks and complications, but I mean, it was a hamstring injury essentially to start with. 15 months.
I get a new hip and I was back quicker.
That's incredible. Mikael Mandron's hit the underside of the bar for St Mirren, but they've done fine, and Nicky Devlin came in and did a good turn in many ways. Anthony Ralston sort of punches above his weight, if you like, because he's not Celtic's first choice, but came in and did a fine solid job at right back for Scotland, but could really be doing with Aaron Hickey back. Missed the Euros, of course.
Well, we need all the players that are playing at the top level.
He was so good before that, wasn't he?
We've not got that many of them, but he's certainly one of them. He certainly would have helped us in the Euros in terms of going forward as well as defensively, but actually getting up the pitch and making the right choices and playing positively. I think that's where we struggled a wee bit with Anthony Ralston, and like, I'm a fan of Ralston, but you could quite clearly see he's maybe a bit limited at times in certain games where he often looked back the way. I think Hickey would have brought something else going forward, so he'll be a positive when he gets back fit and back in the squad.
The woodwork's getting a good going over in Paisley now. Middleton's had a deflected shot off the edge of the post. That was just after Mandron hit the underside of the bar at the other end. So
it sounds a good second half for the coach sitting there watching it in the cold, but it needs a goal.
Finally a Motherwell effort on goal. That's it. That's all you've got to cheer. You've got Tony Watt heading over the bar. It's the first that they've really offered at all. East Fife 2, Clyde 0. I mention him every week because he's worth it.
Yep. Troughton.
Alan Troughton.
Didn't
Bangs
even
him in,
need to
didn't
look
he?
up. Yep.
What did I say it was last week?
39.
39.
39,
I'm
yeah.
assuming he's not had a birthday since then. So, I mean, incredible. 39 years of age and his 19th of the season.
Good for him.
Not bad going, is it? A youngster compared to you,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah.
It's top of East Fife, top of league, and they're cruising under at the top of the league there.
Sure.
I
Just
don't
didn't say
even need
with
to
that
look
much
at my.
belief.
I do not even need to look at the
you
tables.
are right, you're right. Don't you worry. You're an expert. You're a student of the game, and
I was
nobody
just,
should ever doubt you.
Sorry, I didn't get an invite onto the yacht with Rod for his 80th birthday. You know, I thought.
Did he have a yacht for his birthday?
£2 million he paid to go to the Caribbean. Hired the yacht. £2 million.
That is fantastic, isn't it? What have we got to do for your 80th? Don't worry about it. Don't
Pedal
worry
on
about
the
it.
Strathclyde Park.
Greg's.
Don't worry about it.
Greg's for a baguette.
Surely you could sort them out.
What age are you, Hugh? 75?
Speedboat
75,
ride.
yeah.
Speedboat ride in Strathclyde Park.
Oh yeah, the pedal ones down at Girvan.
You could sort
Maybe
that out.
pedal boats.
Incredible revelation you gave us earlier for fans of the show. You know, we've got sort of like belongings here. You've got Hugh Keevan's Nokia. You know, we've got certain things that just form part of the show. You getting a new recliner, you were telling us.
I'm getting I'm buying a new recliner.
What's up with the old one?
The old one's going to the
Damaged.
Heaven beside the Passat to have a good chat. I'll tell you what, they'll have some
damage
stories to
done
tell
to
up there. Did you
What a damage done to that
watch
thing.
such and such?
The men in the sort of hazmat suits are going to have to come and take away the old recliner, aren't they? Dispose of it responsibly.
I'm
Is it
gutted.
material or leather?
Oh, it's leather, mate.
Leather.
It's
Obviously.
well,
White
hold
down.
on. It started off leather.
Obviously. Come on.
It's doing his bare bones.
Melted.
That's exciting on new recliner for the new year.
Yeah, it's coming next week. I'm
Give it to the People's Palace on behalf
you
of the
could
people
not
of
pass
Glasgow.
this on to anybody, let me
No.
tell you now.
Billy Connolly's banana boots.
Oh,
Your recliner.
The good news for you, Hugh, is that the Seagulls have gone 3-0 in front
Yes.
against Norwich.
How much would a new recliner cost you then? Paying.
It's like anything, depends how good you want to go.
What if you went for top of the range?
Yeah.
Because it sees a
Or
lot
like
of
charges your
action.
phone and stuff like that.
It does more than charge your phone, let me tell you.
Liverpool
Makes
won
you
that.
comfortable.
Oh my goodness, I'm glad you finished that. The FA Cup games, Liverpool won that 4-0 earlier on. Just looking at some of the so-called romance, not expecting any shocks down there, but if there was to be any, I would tell you all about them. In fact, our cup's not far away.
No.
So obviously Motherwell are at Easter Road. Who's the next team to go to Easter Road, Hugh?
Clyde
The
Bank.
Bankies, yeah.
2,000 fans
Yeah.
are going along so far.
Paper
We need to
hankies.
send you. We'll give you next Saturday
Oh,
off.
it's too cold.
Some
Yeah,
good
that's
cup
true.
ties, isn't they? You know, Motherwell, they've got a double header at Perth. They play obviously St Johnstone in the cup and then the league. You've got the Dundee Derby,
Yeah.
Kilmarnock, Celtic.
I thought you said they were good cup ties.
I think they're good cup ties. No, think so.
You want
Hibs Clyde Bank's a
Hibs
good
Clyde
cup
Bank's
tie.
good one.
It'd be brilliant for the guys to get a
With
day
all
out
due
Easter Road.
respect, and as much I love them dearly, in what planet would a double header of St Johnstone Motherwell be considered
That's
a good
empty.
cup tie?
that'll get football stopped.
End stuff up
Two
at
of those
Perth.
games.
I told you, 1971, I took my new wife to see Clydebank play Celtic at Celtic Park in the Scottish Cup. Joe McCallan, remember Joe McCallan? He used to play for Alloa, went to the Bankies.
No, I don't-
made it.
who else played with the Bankies at that time?
Oh, Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, Jimmy Fallon, yeah, became a manager at Dumbarton.
And was that in the cup?
In the
Was that
Scottish
the
Cup,
game?
Celtic Park, and my wife jumped up and cheered. the unfortunate thing was we were in the director's box.
Yeah. Clydebank had scored.
Clydebank had scored, yeah.
Did you? All right, I didn't know that.
My wife jumped up. It was 1-0 for Clydebank at Celtic Park. My wife jumped up. She didn't understand the etiquette. Jumped up to cheer.
Toyosi Olusanya has come on for Idowu for St Mirren. You know, Olusanya's
Not bad sub, that is it?
dangerous, isn't
Yeah.
he? Always think if you look at all his goals this season, how many come from him on the shoulder of a defender and sort of forcing a defender into a mistake or bundling his way through. He's had a fairly impressive season, you would have to acknowledge.
So Motherwell is just not happening for them, is it, today? I can't hold out much hope for you.
Nope, I think 2-0 down, you sort of know how that one ends. 2-0 up, of course, against Rangers. There was entertainment involved there from the other way round. I think based on what Fraser's telling us, Gordon, as much as Tony Watts had a sniff, you would expect a third goal to come from Hibs more than anything.
Yeah, maybe it's just one of those days. It's been a poor start to the game for Motherwell. They lost 2 goals before half time. They lost their skipper. They've made 1 or 2 changes. Hibs have had the ball in the back of net, ruled off for offside. You just get days like that. You've just got to dust yourself down. Look, the game's not away yet, but listen to Fraser, there's no signs whatsoever Motherwell can get back into this.
A reminder of the teaser, Hugh. Let's keep going because so many answers coming in.
I played with Marius Zaliukas and Stevie Crawford. I was managed by Malky Mackay and Alec McLeish. I won the Challenge Cup and I scored in the Champions League. Who am I?
Barry Welsh would like to go for Lee Wallace.
No.
Okay, so still some wrong answers coming in. Chris says David Templeton.
No.
And you can see where everyone's going with these. You can almost see why they've thought that, but still ultimately incorrect. Hibs are now starting to sit back a bit, which I suppose you can do when you're 2-0 up, but David Gray is going to make some changes, try and shake things up a bit.
I think the problem with that is Hibs have usually got plenty of pace, top end, so you sit back, you suck up a bit of pressure and then hitting the counter. Motherwell, no doubt about it, obviously Motherwell need to get a goal within the next 10 minutes to make a game of it and force Hibs into a few mistakes, because you never know with Hibs. You know, it's okay when things are going their way, but you put them under a wee bit of pressure. You wonder if the same mistakes would start creeping in that we saw earlier in the season.
I think the problem is you have to put them under some sort of pressure, and Motherwell not really doing that.
And I think it's just now there's a bit more character about Hibs. They're a different Hibs side. They're playing with a bit more confidence. There should be a good crowd in there. I like the way Hibs supporters turn up in their numbers. But you just can't see Motherwell getting back into it.
The Hibs fans are getting their reward now for. I mean, there was Sir David Gray has so much credit in the bank at Easter Road. It's not true, but they didn't at any time make any kind of protest against him, even when they were bottom of the table, and now they're getting the reward. Tonight they'll be top 6.
Miller, Kwon and Hoylett on, Chris Cadden, Levitt and Gale off. So they do have a
shows you the strength of the squad.
Kind of good changes. Tony Watts had another header just over the bar, so Motherwell getting closer. They've left it quite late in this one to try and muster some attacking threat. We've passed the hour mark and it is still Hibs who lead by 2-0. We are still awaiting that first goal between St Mirren and Dundee United. Richard Taylor's taking no chances. He just needs to clear the ball. There's no pressure, and he puts it out the stand. I like that.
Out the stand.
If in doubt.
Yeah, that doesn't go down well with the kit man when a ball is lost. I mean, what are they, over £100 or something like that, and they get a certain allocation they don't like when they lose balls.
Teta had a pop this week, didn't he? Wasn't happy with he wasn't happy with the ball used in the Carabao Cup, because like we do as well, obviously different competitions have a different match ball manufacturer, and he wasn't happy.
Why not?
Just didn't like it.
I do you know something? He
flies
really
around too much, too light.
He annoys me. He annoys me.
You don't like him. You've not liked him for a long time.
Do you know something? I don't dislike a lot of people, but he's right up there, my top 10.
I'm sure he'll be devastated at this.
I don't
news.
care. I've no problem with letting him know.
I think you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, but you're annoyed by everybody.
Well, maybe not everybody, but most people.
So you don't. Not
but
a fan.
Not a fan of Teta. I wouldn't like to. Look, I'm no doubting his ability. The lad had great ability as a player, and he's doing brilliant as a manager, but I just could not have played under him, sitting in that dressing room listening to that drivel every single day of my life.
He was roundly mocked for the ball comment, and that there were statements being released all over the place to prove that there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. And you always think that's the last resort.
It's funny because I think it's not actually uncommon. For instance, I think the SPFL brought in new match balls, and when they were first used, I heard players say that they did feel a bit different, and people have got your preference on whether you like them or not. It's probably that you just can't say it publicly after the game. It just doesn't look great, does it?
No, there are some things that, I mean, Philippe Clement specialises in saying things he shouldn't say after games, and there'll be Rangers fans will be listening out for him tomorrow. But you know, Arsenal get turned over by Newcastle, easily turned over at Arsenal, and he comes out with all that rubbish.
I like the statement from the ball manufacturer.
Did they reply?
Because they said, it started off, and it was all very professional, but it was, this ball is subject to FIFA testing regulations, as is always the case, and so on and so forth. And then I think at the end it was just something along the lines of, this ball's been used in X amount of games, and this is the first complaint we've had, as if to say, be quiet.
Yeah, and I totally agree with them. I think that's absolute nonsense. You come out and have a go at the ball.
Listen, we've spent far too long there speaking about English football, but we can put a kilt on this because it's a Scotsman. I'm just interested to get your thoughts on the Darren Ferguson not putting Ashley Young's boy on debate.
Totally agree with it. I
don't know this. I've seen it, but I didn't look at it because it didn't grab my attention.
Right, Everton played Peterborough in the FA Cup.
Right.
Ashley Young played for Everton.
Yeah.
His son is at Peterborough. So very rarely do you see son and father on the same pitch. But he was an unused sub, the son. And people are lashing out at Darren Ferguson and saying it's a disgrace. He should have put the boy on to make history.
Exactly. I totally agree with Darren Ferguson on this one.
It's incredible there's been a debate.
Incredible. And by the way, Ashley Young didn't make it easy by saying, what was it, gutted or something. He tweets out after the game that his son didn't go on. I mean, come on.
He's number 2 in my list, by the way. no, Ashley Young, I can't go him either.
For goodness sake, right?
What are you having to go at him for? Just for this point or another?
I just didn't. I've never liked him, his attitude.
Bizarre. But you're with that.
Number 3.
It's not, thank you, I'm in good company then. But it's not a charity. He was totally right, and the chairman was totally right in backing the manager that it was still a possibility that they were still in the game, and he needed to get a forward on to get back in the game. There's no time for sentimental nonsense when you're actually playing the professional game.
By the way, he also barely plays the son. It's not like he's been in the team every week. He's hardly.
Yeah,
he's not. I was surprised there was so much made of it.
To be fair to Darren Ferguson, he made a living out of that sort of scenario, didn't he?
People haven't. The irony's not been lost on people. To be fair, they are pointing that out. You know.
Dad, there's 79 minutes in the clock. Any chance?
Would have been pretty cool to see Ashley Young against his son. Incidentally,
would have been
not
an incredible story, but not to be, and for the right reasons.
That would have been really strange, innit? Imagine your father was the manager of your football club and you lived at home. Imagine getting home on a Saturday night. Well, I've got to have a word with him.
There have been a few of those, but you never see.
Think so?
Never seen them playing against each other. Aye, been on the same pitch as your boy.
What would be the closest?
Lee Miller and Lennon
must have missed each other by what?
I still think a couple of years now.
4 or 5 years maybe. Yeah. There can't be many that have even been close.
My dad wasn't a good player, so
that rules that one out then.
He's not walking in the wardrobe.
He did walk into my dressing room once in a cup tie, but unannounced, but done the team talk. But apart from that,
I think that's the closest we've had here in Scotland then in recent years, the Millers.
Yeah, I'm thinking Beattie's been retired a long time because Jevons
son's not a first team player yet.
Not yet.
Is he?
But Millers must be.
I'd have hated to have a son and was a footballer.
Why?
Honestly, he was better than me and took the
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Most people would be proud of that.
No, I don't want that.
How does this fit in with your new age philosophy?
I still live in the past a bit.
Well, hold on. So Lee Miller still at Falkirk 2021. When would Lennon have made his Motherwell debut? 23 or something?
He wasn't playing though, was he? He was joint manager, was he? Co-manager.
I think he still made appearances that season. I think so. A couple of years off. Fraser Wishart says Eidur Johnson came on for his dad for Iceland.
So he did.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
good knowledge.
That would be a proud moment.
Coming on for your old man.
That's interesting. I like to see that. What else have we got there? No, I can't think of any others that would be close in Scottish terms. Miller's a couple of years out, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right, move on. Case closed. Never mind. Right, what's happened here? Low shot from Kevin Holt. Maybe a kind of cross shot somewhere in the middle. No takers. United pushing now in Paisley. Gordon, your prediction is out the window.
Why?
Eamon Brophy subbed for Falkirk. Still goalless that one. Are you surprised there? Falkirk Queen's Park.
Was Falkirk and Queen's Park not the first game of the season this year?
I think,
Championship?
Yeah, but
Friday night?
I thought you were thinking of when Queen's Park hosted Falkirk recently, and Falkirk brilliant,
battered them, didn't they?
No, I was thinking of the first, going back to the first game of the season.
I think you're
Friday
right,
night, Falkirk, and
Dom Thomas scored
an absolute wonder. Yeah,
I'm surprised just the way Falkirk have built into this season. You know, especially at home, they've been so good. And Brophy, I think, should improve them. Sometimes it takes a player a wee bit of time, doesn't it, just to get to know the patterns of play and what the manager wants. But surprising at that. It's tight at the top of that championship. Good win, you mentioned it earlier, for Thistle last night, because under a wee bit of pressure after such a heavy home defeat, a good response for the players. Big Brian scoring again. He knows the way to go in that championship.
Is that him level with Ollie Shaw, I think, at the top of the championship goal scoring charts?
And young Stanway, who's a good player.
That was a good goal, wasn't it?
Very good goal. Good player. He's suffered through injury a bit. He's got a bright future, Stanway.
Motherwell have made more changes. BA and Slattery on, Watt and Sparrow off. So if they could score once and maybe make things a bit nervy, but they are still 2-0 down, and Hibs in command.
Yeah, a goal is so important if they can get it, and I think Mark's right there. Sometimes Hibs can crash under the pressure, but just where are they going to get a goal? They've tried everything, they've changed things, substitutions. It's one of those days, I think, as a footballer and a manager, you realise, look, just let's get out of here and we'll prepare for next week.
Motherwell was just sitting right on the line, you know, steady line this season. 1-9, lost 9, drew 4, but this would obviously tip them over the edge. Lost 10, but I still think Stuart Kettlewell would be happy enough with that position, still sitting there in 5th.
Assuming Hibs win this game 2 up, they'll only be 2 points behind Motherwell.
That's incredible, isn't it?
But
climbing.
League, yeah, our league's so unpredictable. You wouldn't be surprised in a couple of weeks if that's Kilmarnock up there. You know, the way Ross County have been playing, it could easily turn into be them. Just between third place and 11th.
It's the January window. In theory, Aberdeen and Hearts would be well placed to do business more than others.
Well, Aberdeen have brought in 2 already, and well known to Jimmy Fielden, and they've got to do it tomorrow against Hearts. They're in front of their own Pittodrie crowd, and they're trying to avoid 11 games without defeat. So huge afternoon for Jimmy Tilleen tomorrow, and Neil Critchley for that matter.
I mean, St Johnstone signed a player from Panama last night. From Panama to Perth. It's quite a journey. Producer Scott's a St Johnstone fan.
Who scouts that?
Nodding his head
Is he a St Johnstone fan?
Do you not know that?
Well,
no, I did not.
Never met a St Johnstone fan before.
Never seen one of them in real life.
Have a look at him. That St Johnstone fan written all over him, innit?
Well,
he's a lonely boy.
I just thought he was a Scotland fan, because the only time I've seen him is with McTominay on the back, his shirt.
There you go.
Who scouts that?
What do you mean?
Well, I saw Valakari midweek saying it's incredibly difficult to attract players to Perth, and maybe if they can't get them over the line.
Perth in Australia, he's like, hold on a minute, that was a quick journey.
Flight was short on that.
So, yeah.
Well, they need players in. They certainly do, because the ones they've got just now aren't going to cut it and keep them in this division.
But they've got the big game tomorrow at Ibrox. How much attention will be on that game now, following Patrick Stewart's meeting with the press today, and how that will be reported and how it will be reacted to by the Rangers supporters?
Yeah, there's one for you on the phone in, Rangers fans. In about 20 minutes time, of course, we want to know what you thought of Patrick Stewart's briefing today, where he backed the manager and he said there would be 1, maybe 2 players brought in. But what do you think tomorrow will look like, sound like? Just as an example, anyone out there who would usually go but isn't going because you're a bit scunnered? Those of you who are, what does it all mean? Is it just about, is it about banners? Is it about protests? I don't know. You're experts in this sort of stuff. What does tomorrow look like for you in that game against St Johnstone? And like we said, how do you look back on That briefing that Patrick Stewart gave today. Stephen Robinson's been booked for a moan in Paisley. Olasanya clean through, a huge chance but saved by Jack Walton.
Well, never mind all that. I've had a message from Gordon Moffat, the Clyde Bank manager, saying, but back to your point,
Hugh Keevins can be the mascot.
No, father and son. He's brought up a good one. What I've overlooked, Willie Gibson and his boy
together.
Aye,
that's right. I was
father
thinking,
and son,
because
the same
they did
pitch
play against
at QS.
But one of them's moved now. No, have they not played against each other now?
I'm not sure, but there you go. Well done, Gordon.
Yeah, Lee Miller actually did get in touch and say thanks for the mention. So I'm trying to clear up exactly how many years they were in between. But the Gibsons, that's right.
Moff should be thinking about the dismantling of Rocky Bashiri instead of texting you.
Hold on a minute.
They sometimes do this on stag do's where you can like be the mascot. Imagine Hugh Keevins walked out holding the
that. By the way, we can arrange that.
Imagine him,
Gordon. Would that be all right?
Holding the captain's hand that he's still.
That would be amazing. So good. With the Porek on.
I'm not trying to be nasty. Should Gordon Moffat not be sitting at Easter Road now?
Maybe he is. Listen to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doing his homework.
Maybe he is. Footage everywhere these days.
Ridiculous. Get
Don't
along there.
Don't leave your living room these days.
Put your Crombie on and a scarf and away you go.
Crombie, what's that?
But you know what Crombie is?
A Crombie. Is it a coat?
Big coat, yeah.
All managers
Is
that the one that you tie?
No,
like a detective's
big
coat.
Black one. All managers, you put a Crombie on.
I have to admit,
you're a true manager.
You've done
a
these well. I'm not
aye.
sure.
Right, show me, Gordon.
It's just a kind of
a black
coat,
jacket.
Really, just a coat.
Yeah.
I've googled it. Just
think of a funeral.
All right, aye.
One of these big jackets.
Okay, I've got a Crombie in the house.
Crombie?
Time I was kidding on, I was a manager.
Does it still get labelled?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Callum Slattery pulls one back for Motherwell, and it's a direct free kick from the edge of the box. He's not played. He's came back in recent weeks, but he's been out for over a year. And just before that, we saw what he was capable of from free kicks, and he's done it again. Back with a bang here to really set up an interesting finish. Although they're VAR checking something, it must be someone in the line of sight of the goalkeeper, perhaps, if it was offside.
How long to play? If the goal is
15
or
so.
minutes.
Still a bit to go, Hugh.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah, I think he scored direct, so it must be checking a player was in an offside position in the goalkeeper's line of sight, something like that. Remember Hearts did it, didn't they? Was it in Dingwall and Lawrence Shanklin stood in front of the goalie and the free kick went in? No, just me.
Remember.
Goal given. So there we are. Hibs 2, Motherwell 1.
Right, Hibs now have Miller, Abita and Bashiri on the pitch. There are chances here for Motherwell to get back in this, but they need to get the ball forward quickly and put that back line under pressure.
Yeah, right footed. It's one that's set up more for a left footer, but he reverses it in the bottom corner. I think the keeper maybe according to Fraser Wishart was caught a bit.
Was he?
Maybe kind of heavy on the feet. It's one of those though, if you think it's going in the other corner ultimately, because usually that's where it would go, it gets caught out, so it ends up going in low and it goes almost through some bodies. I think that's maybe where a check was.
By the way, you said earlier on though that Tony Watt had a couple of efforts just over the bar, so Motherwell gradually find their way into the game. Sometimes all it needs is a set piece like that just to
all of
spark.
All of a sudden.
Now that said, what will Hibs be like put under pressure? Do some of those old memories come back from that sticky period?
I think especially because at 2 they could have made it 3 and 4 and then started sitting back a bit, whether that's deliberate or subconscious. That can sometimes happen. I think Mariah Welsh has been put on by Hibs in the aftermath of the goal, replacing Josh Campbell.
It just shows you how just a goal, Motherwell don't look like they're going to get anything. It's been a bad day. 2-0 at half time, lost their captain. You're thinking just get ourselves out of here and we'll prepare for next week. That goal all of a sudden gives them a little spring in their step and a great opportunity. Could you imagine them getting out of Edinburgh this afternoon with a point in the bag?
And I'll use your favourite word that changes the Hibs narrative, because they then don't go into the top 6 and it's just another day at work. Whereas if it stays 2-1, it's a pivotal day at work.
Still Hibs in the lead though, so Motherwell have got more work to do. It's 2-1 to the High Bees, despite that Callum Slattery free kick changing things a bit. It doesn't change the full picture yet. So what type of finish are we in for at Easter Road? We will see.
Helter skelter, that's what you're in for.
Penalty Hibs. Stand down. Good timing.
That was all going so well.
Good timing there. Hibs
Still
got
got
up
to
the other
score it,
end.
Gordon.
And well, what a chance
New
for
goalkeeper,
Archie
yeah.
Mayer, the new goalkeeper. But that's incredibly soft from Motherwell's perspective. You're looking to try and push on, but it's an alleged pull by Stephen O'Donnell on Nectar Triantis.
How frustrating that is a manager. See, if you're a manager, son, stand there, you watch, you're going, we're not having the greatest day, we need something to give us spark. They get it with a free kick, and what? Hibs go right up the park, penalty kick.
He's had to wait his time as well, O'Donnell, hasn't he, to try and get back in the side, and they're repaying his manager there.
Yep, booked for his troubles, Stephen O'Donnell.
Well, again, the narrative changes back. If the penalty is converted, then it's glory to the Hibees.
Of course, Martin Boyle waiting to take, which Gordon said wasn't a penalty taker last week, didn't you? You were doubting him.
Yeah, I was doubting him. Yeah, there's no point kidding on. I was doubting him. I doubt him this week as well. But it's just it's frustrating for Motherwell if you're in the Motherwell camp and just a free kick into the box and they get away cheap penalty kick.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hibs 3, Motherwell 1, and it was short-lived. He kind of goes high, almost down the middle, a bit to the goalkeeper's right, and goal scored. And it's one of those you just don't get away with on VAR. At a push, you could maybe ask the question of, does the player that Stephen O'Donnell pulls, is he getting to the ball? Because the ball goes right into the goalkeeper's arms, but you're still taking a chance. Penalty, goal, and game over, probably.
Yeah, and another big day for Martin Boyle, who was excellent against the Rangers last Sunday. And now the story is Hibs are in the top 6, having once been bottom of the table. By mid-January, they've turned it all around and are now top 6. That's a story.
4 goals in 2 home games for Boyle.
Yeah,
decent. He's back in form. He's a big player for them. Good experience, good pace, and he's now adding goals to his game as well. So it's been a good week.
And now they really are 2 points behind Motherwell and climbing.
Yeah, Martin Boyle scoring from the spot again, making it Hibs 3, Motherwell 1, and still nothing in Paisley. We're going to get a winner there.
What did I tell you? I told you did. 3 o'clock. 0-0 written all over it.
And nothing in Falkirk.
Didn't David Friel say it was going to be a cracker?
Yeah, he did. I think we'll get a winner. I think there'll be a winner there.
He's got the tactical board out there now, try to change things.
You're not having him giving advice. He's only giving his opinion. He's a well-travelled journalist.
Read out what you're supposed to read out the teams and just keep yourself quiet.
I would like to hear David's response to this.
He says it has been a good game, which I suppose we shouldn't overlook. You can get good 0-0s. So it's last-ditch defending from St Mirren. They're trying to keep the back door shut. Well, we get Dundee United went through a little spell there, though, didn't they? Being late drama specialists.
Yep.
All sorts of late goals. Can they come up with more on this occasion? We'll see. How's that teaser looking here?
Okay, so I played with Marius Zaliukas and Stevie Crawford. I have been managed by Malky Mackay and Alec McLeish. I won the Challenge Cup and I scored in the Champions League. Who am I?
Polly Boy thinks it's Kieran Tierney.
No.
Where else?
Challenge Cup, Kieran Tierney.
Hale, like you, Mark Wilson thinks Andy Webster.
Aye.
Alan Boy thinks Charlie Mulgrew.
No.
Or Gary O'Connor or Tony Watt.
None of them.
Alan Boy's thrown in all sorts of answers and none of them correct. Let's do a 2-minute warning on that. So give us your answers. In 2 minutes we'll round it off and see what you can come up with at Clyde SSB.
Has anyone got it yet?
Me.
Yeah, apart from you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I didn't cheat because obviously he's witnessed it.
But you didn't get it first time. You wrote down about 10 names.
I wrote down one name, Barry Nicholson. I wrote down.
Somebody else did say that, weirdly.
And then I went when you went too long, and I knew it was. I don't want to give it away.
No.
Okay, what was the other name you went for again in the middle? Was
Just
there not
one.
another, was it?
Yeah, just one.
Just Mark Wilson who was getting.
Yeah, I
the
went
goal.
3. Yep, I went.
Just told you we'd get a late goal.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It comes in Paisley and it's for Dundee United. It's an overhead kick from Louis Moult. What a goal that is to win the game potentially. Still time left, but what a crucial time to grab one. Louis Moult scoring an overhead kick to make it St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1. Stephen Robinson knows all about what Louis Moult's capable of, and he has come up with the goods.
Well, what a way to end the game. We're just chatting. Dundee United have done this time and time again, scoring late in the game. And when you've got someone like Louis Moult in reserve to bring on, you know, Dalby's obviously grabbing the headlines. Louis Moult was the number one striker at the start of the season, finds himself on the bench. That shows you've got a decent squad. So I think that'll be the winner.
If this is the winner, Dundee United tonight with 4 points behind Rangers. I mean, the promoted club with 4 points behind Rangers.
I think the Dundee United manager will have enjoyed that goal at his old club. But well done to them. Listen, it doesn't matter saying scoring late goals. It's all about seeing out the game, getting late goals. It shows character, fitness, everything about it. And well done to him. I don't see any way back. No, it's easy to say.
They should have known, because St Mirren's, their games as well have got a kind of theme of late goals, whether that's winners or goals against them. Motherwell a couple of weeks ago when they were there scored a late winner, but St Mirren have scored plenty late goals themselves. So what a result that would be if that stays the same for Jim Goodwin.
They're in a wee bad run, St Mirren. Yeah, that could be their fourth loss in a row.
Well, since they beat Rangers, they haven't done much.
Yeah, they've taken a little dip, which will probably annoy the manager, who get booked this afternoon as well, into the bargain.
6 minutes added, so still time for St Mirren to come up with something. They've had late drama of their own this season, thinking of the game against Rangers. So let's see if they can rally in that 6 minutes that's been added. Just to leave some space then for that, let's finish off our teaser, Hugh.
Okay.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played with Marius Zaliukas and Stevie Crawford. I was managed by Malky Mackay and Alec McLeish. I won the Challenge Cup and I scored in the Champions League. I am Kenny Miller,
the Atlanta United assistant manager, as he's now known. Well done if you got it right, and loads of you did. Annie's Land was third place, Scott McScott was in second, and the winner was Dylan Patton. Well done to you. The type of question that brought out loads of wrong answers, but we got there in the end, and we have a penalty for St Mirren. The chance to level things up. There we go. Real drama at the end. Toyosi Olusanya down, and the chance from
who takes him again?
Spot,
because O'Hara's not obviously playing.
Remember, Mark O'Hara pulled his thigh,
yeah.
taken at McDermott Park, and Idowu took the retake, didn't he? Or the next one, but he's gone off, so Olusanya will take it himself.
Don't fancy him.
No.
Big moment.
Yeah,
big moment.
What, you think he's more of a runner?
Yeah.
You think he's going to just like chase the ball into the goal?
He is. He's going to try and bundle it into the net.
Nah, I fancy him to score.
A big moment. It is a big moment. Dundee United thought they had won it late on, but now a chance for St Mirren to strike back at the death from the penalty spot. We praised Kevin Holt earlier. He's the one that gave the penalty away, though. Gave away a penalty in the Dundee derby as well. Felt hard done by on that one. That was the handball, wasn't it? It's full time in the Championship. We'll go there in a second. Let's just find out about this penalty from St Mirren. Have they levelled it up? He steps up. Olusanya saved by Jack Walton. You called it, Mark Wilson.
Didn't they fancy him?
And it remains St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1. Full time in Falkirk though. Roger Hanna.
Full time Gordon, Falkirk 0, Queen's Park 0. The Bairns are 5 points clear at the top of the Championship tonight, but they may well look upon this as 2 point drop. Eamon Brophy thrown in for a debut after his midweek loan move from Ross County. Twice went close in the opening 10 minutes, and they went even closer at the start of the second half. An angle drive well held by Spiders goalkeeper Callum Ferry after a pass by Callum Morrison. At the other end, Queen's Park very much in this game. Nicky Hogarth had to deny Jack Turner with a shot. Then Callum Morrison went as close as we saw in the game, clipping the outside of the post with a 20-yard shot. Ryan Duncan of Queen's Park had a fierce volley just wide, and then Hogarth denied the Queen's Park captain Dom Thomas as the Spiders sought a shock win here in Falkirk. John McGlynn tried his hardest. He made all 5 changes off the bench. It was a late push by the Bairns to get a breakthrough. Keelan Adams firing over the top as the game went into stoppage time. But in stoppage time, Queen's Park had the best chance. A break, the ball fed outside left to Ryan Duncan, and the on loan Aberdeen winger lashed it across the face of goal and just past the far post. The full-time score at the Falkirk Stadium, it's a Falkirk 0, Queen's Park 0.
Even more drama in Paisley. There's been an encroachment check to see if someone, now remember it's all about who becomes sort of active, who has a material impact. So as an example, when the kick is saved, if the player that cleared the ball away after that, if he's gone in early, that's an issue and you would need a retake. So they would always look, play on, so the save stands. Is that such a thing? Can a save stand?
Yeah.
It remains St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1. And
it remains the case that Jim Goodwin's good work continues, and I repeat, if that's the final score, they're 4 points behind Rangers.
The goalie's been another good signing. Doesn't often get the credit because Dalby's taking the headlines, but he's been another good find, and he could have won the points there for United right at the death.
Absolutely. Still maybe even time for more late drama, but we will see. 3 minutes added at Easter Road. The game looks done as a contest. Motherwell made it nervy for a minute or two, but in fact it was a minute or two at the most, and then Hibs went up the other end, got a penalty, scored it, and it's Hibs 3, Motherwell 1.
Poor day for Motherwell, but once again Hibs just keep going and going. They're in good form, scoring goals. Boyle's in brilliant form for them, and that's a great 3 points and puts them right up into put them in the top 6 here.
Yes.
So you wouldn't have seen that a few months ago, but as Motherwell, they just get out of there. They've got to lick their wounds. They get back in the game. You cannot get back in the game a minute and a half later away from home and then give away a cheap penalty kick. Just absolutely kills you. And a big blow today is the loss of the captain, Paul McGinn.
Yeah, just waiting in the full-time whistle there. We'll get Fraser Wishart's version of events as soon as we can, and hard to take your eyes and ears off Paisley because a late goal for Louis Moult put Dundee United 1 up, then a penalty for St Mirren. It was saved, they checked for encroachment, but it remains 1-0.
We've had a lot today, haven't we? We've had the check for encroachment. We've had the Ross County goalkeeper going a foot off his line and being pulled back, a retake, and Arna Engel scoring. We've had everything today.
I know it can be long and laborious, but those are the ones where VAR kind of comes into its own, doesn't it? Because it should by and large be factual. You're just looking as the goalie off his line, something that might be hard to spot with the naked eye, has someone encroached. So I suppose you can't grumble with those ones, time aside. Sometimes it can take a bit too long to just double check everything, but we're ticking down the seconds at Easter Road. I just wonder what the atmosphere's like in Paisley. Such a golden opportunity to pull things level, and they couldn't manage it from 12 yards. They have had various penalty issues.
This league's mad now. I mean, wherever you look, nothing makes much sense anymore.
I think St Johnstone will be in the top 6 in 4 weeks' time.
Do you?
No, St Johnstone are relegated. They've not a chance of coming back. But the rest of the teams, you look at Hearts, you wouldn't put it by Hearts all of a sudden, boom, go on a run.
Well, they play Aberdeen tomorrow,
and
everybody beats Aberdeen.
That's a big day for Aberdeen. They really need to get back to winning ways.
The 2 new signings have got to hit the ground running for Aberdeen tomorrow in front of the Pittodrie fans.
Full time in Paisley, David Friel.
Full time, Gordon, St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1. Hugh says this league is mad. Well, this game is mad. What a game it was, and what a win for Dundee United. Louis Moult won it with an incredible overhead kick 2 minutes from time, but Jack Walton still had time to become the Dundee United hero with a dramatic penalty save from Toyosi Olasanya at the death. And they end up United 3 points clear in third, just 4 behind Rangers now. They are destined for the top 6. They might even be destined for Europe, but it was a day to forget for St Mirren, who have lost 4 on the bounce now and have slipped out of the top 6. Their best chance of the first half came after 4 minutes. Richard Taylor unmarked from a corner, should have scored. Lucas Stevenson made a clearance. Greg Kelty a couple of chances, but Jack Walton was in top form all game. Kevin Holt had United's best effort of the opening 45, but Zach Hemming was also in top form in goal for St Mirren. Jim Goodwin's side were far better after the break. Vico Sevelj had a goal disallowed for offside after a well-worked corner. The game raged from end to end for a bit. Couldn't take your eyes off it at all. Mikael Mandron crashed a shot off the bar. Glenn Middleton then raced up the other end in United's next attack. He hit the post. The chances just kept coming. Sam Dalby raced through. Zach Hemming made a great save. He then did even better to keep out Kevin Holt at the back post. But St Mirren sub Osi Olasanya, he came on to make an impact. He did that, but not in a good way. He had a golden chance to win it when he was played through by Mikael Mandron. He had so much time to pick his spot, but Jack Walton made a massive save. Then came the drama with Walt's goal in 88 minutes. United had been pushing. Zach Hemming so busy, but the ball then stopped to the striker. After a set piece, Louis Moult flicked it up and somehow found the bottom corner with an overhead kick. What a goal it was. The game looked won, but there was more drama as Olasanya won a penalty after drawing a foul from Holt. He then took the spot kick, but Jack Walton yet again made a big save to secure the win. United players are right in front of their fans now, lapping up the win, lapping up the points. What a game. Full time, St Mirren 0, Dundee United 1.
There's been a late red card for Motherwell, and the full-time whistle's gone as well. Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, Hibernian 3, Motherwell 1. The Hibernian fans absolutely delighted, because even though it wasn't a classic 90 minutes, the home team did deserve to win. The difference between the two was the first half performances. Goals from Martin Boyle and Nectar Chiantis had them ahead. Second half was more even. Sub Callum Slattery gave the Motherwell fans hope, but a Boyle penalty late on settled things for Hibs. Only highlights in the first half were the 2 goals. 27th minute, sub Jordan Obita, who's on for Nicky Cann, who broke his nose, just made a yard for himself on the left hand side. Really good low driven cross into the 6-yard box. A tap in from Martin Boyle into the empty net from 2 yards. A couple of minutes later it was 2-0. Motherwell gave the ball away in their own half, as they had done often in the first half. Levitt was onto it, set Nectar Contreras. Triantis free on the right hand side. He drove into the box unchallenged in the inside right position. Really good finish, low across the goalkeeper Archie Mayer and in off the far post. Stuart Kettle with changes. Half time, Maswanisi and Coletta on to use their pace, Halley and Wilson off, and they were a bit better in the second half. Motherwell, although 1 minute into the second half, Hibs did have the ball in the net. Josh Campbell scored from a close range header, was disallowed for offside. 51 minutes, Motherwell's first effort to go. Maswanisi with the cross, Tony Watt headed about a yard or two over. Watt then headed an O'Donnell header. This time it was over the bar, but just over. Jordan Smith was scrambling, but in general not much happening in either last third. Hibs comfortable, were very passive, little in attack. Their fans want their team to push forward, and they were punished for that, sitting back in 76 minutes when Motherwell got a lifeline. A clever free kick by sub Callum Slattery. He was 20 yards out, right of centre of the penalty box. He reversed his shot high into the top right hand corner of the net. The keeper's right, and he was expecting the ball to go to his left, so he was a bit flat footed, but Motherwell couldn't take advantage of that lifeline, because 2 minutes later a Hibs penalty. Obita throwing a free kick into the box, easily taken by Archie Mayer, but Colin Stevens saw Stephen O'Donnell pull Nectar Triantis and he gave the penalty kick. Up step Martin Boyle, fired beyond Mayer, sending him the wrong way, high into the net. Jack Vale was shown a very, very late red card in the final seconds of stoppage time. Martin Boyle broke away from Motherwell corner. I thought it was more of a trip, more of a professional foul. We've seen it just take one for the team, but Colin Stevens gave the red card, and I thought that was a bit harsh. But that's 7 undefeated for Hibs, 5 wins, 2 draws, sees them into the top 6, 2 points behind Motherwell, and the fans singing David Gray's name all as well at Easter Road. Full time here, Hibernian 3, Motherwell 1.
And now it's over to you then. 0141 951 1025. What have you got for us tonight then? Celtic fans, how pleasing was that game? Dingwall can be tough, the pitch was grim, there were wingers missing, and it ended up 4-1. So what did you make of it? What did you enjoy about the performance? Is that one of the better games we've seen Yang play? Was that one of Kyogo's best performances of the season? Give us all your thoughts there. And how does it feel to be 18 points clear at the top? Rangers fans, this was a huge day. Patrick Stewart, the new CEO, gave a briefing in which he backed the manager Philippe Clement. We've had so many calls in recent nights for him to go, but he's been backed by the board. So is that the right call? What did you make of Patrick Stewart's briefing? What did you make of the fact he said it would be 1, maybe 2 signings to come in January? And are you going to the game against St Johnstone tomorrow? If not, why not? Have you been put off because of the last few days? And if you are going, what will that sound like? What will it look like? Will there be banners, songs, protests to try and get your displeasure across, do let us know. St Mirren fans, you had the chance to level it from the penalty spot, but you couldn't manage it, so a good win for Dundee United. Give us a call. And Motherwell fans, poor afternoon. How would you sum it up? 0141 951 1025. Call us now and we'll try and get you on next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
A busy day of football as always. Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here. They're asking for your take on today's games, today's stories, tomorrow's football, whatever you fancy. This is the place to share it on a Saturday evening. Let's get stuck straight in because some phone calls coming in already. Anthony is a Celtic fan from Lanark. How's it going, Anthony?
Good, Gordon, thanks yourself.
Not bad. What did you take away from the game in Dingwall then?
How you doing, panel? I thought today, obviously a hard surface, hard pitch, difficult conditions, but recently the team's coming through a bit of kind of a hard time, slow play, back passes, stuff like that. But I thought today they looked really sharp. As I say, difficult conditions, but Yang's one that's coming for a lot of criticism recently, who again I thought today was really, really good. But just a pleasing performance for me as a fan.
Come on, Hugh, the onus is on you. Just once. It doesn't need to extend beyond today. Yang did fine, didn't he?
He did fine.
Played well.
It was, in general terms, pound for pound, as well as Celtic have played this season. And as Anthony has said, on a very difficult surface. Yang made a contribution, but Kyogo was head and shoulders above everyone on the park. Scored 2, should have had 4, could have had 4, but for the goalkeeper, well done to him. But pound for pound, as good a performance as Celtic have given this season, and the fact that it puts them 18 points ahead of Rangers mid-January is nothing short of staggering.
Mark, was it particularly impressive because of the conditions? Usual rules apply. Celtic should beat Ross County. Let's state the obvious, but to do it in those conditions and not deviate too much from the way that they would normally play.
Well, they didn't, maybe a wee bit in terms of shape, but that was forced upon them with Kyogo playing closer to Ida. But in terms of their style, no, they didn't change anything. I was really impressed at how they managed to control the ball on that surface. Of course we saw a couple bobble up, but they recovered it pretty quickly. Some of the goals were fantastic, especially the first goal. Some of the chances they created just through passing through Ross County, really impressive. So that will impress Brendan Rodgers. I know he said before the game that, what was it, style's
not going to win you points. Resilience.
But style did win him points today, because that's what defeated Ross County, particularly in the first half. So a lot to be pleased about, not just the style but the other personnel coming in. Yang, I thought, probably one of his better games in a Celtic shirt.
Is there a player in there, Anthony? Are you still holding out hope that Yang can kick on, or do you have your worries?
No, listen, I don't disagree with Shugs. I don't see much of a player in there. I think he's a good stopgap for Celtic. I would like to see Luke McCowan get more around the team. I really enjoy watching him playing. Really seems to play for the jersey. And again, on Hugh's point there, the Ross County keeper had a really good game today. He was unfortunate with some of these attempts, but on the whole, I just thought Celtic's dominance was what won the game.
I think you're the most forgiving, can't believe I'm saying this, the most positive of all the pundits.
With Yang?
Just in life, in general.
Yeah.
You always give players the maximum chance.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still adamant that some players that truly are hopeless can come good. But what about Yang? You think there's something there?
Well, first and foremost, I think there's a player in there, right? I said at 2:00 this afternoon that he had to be more positive. I watched him on Thursday night. He always takes the easy way out. He comes back and he plays a simple pass. I think if you're going to cement a place in Celtic, you've got to be brave. You look at Maeda in the flanks, you look at Kuhn, the game that he's come on to. Everything's positive about these guys. Yang today, especially first half, I've seen a little bit of that in him. I thought he'd done alright today. He wasn't outstanding, but for me, going forward, if he's going to show the Celtic fans that he has got a future at Celtic, he's got to be positive. I thought he took a few steps to that, but I agree with you. I thought Kyogo was sharp. You look at the pitch, you look at the conditions. I don't think Celtic let that get to them today, because the first goal, is a brilliant team
See
goal.
on Yang, depends what you think he is. He's never going to force his way into the Celtic team as a starter or show anybody that he's better than what they've got in those areas.
What's the point?
But every squad needs that.
Yeah.
What's the point? The point is today where
if he's that young,
and Maeda,
if he's as young as he is, should there not at least be the possibility that could happen at some point in the future?
Well, who knows?
You said he wouldn't.
I might. Well, when give him years, but this season you can clearly see. But the point is, in days like today, where you don't have your number one wingers, or you can afford to play him at Celtic Park in certain occasions, he's going to perform.
Was it a strange time to have a good, if you're a winger, you think, I'm getting stick for performances on the Bowling Green at Celtic Park now, and he got Peer in this, and actually looked more effective dribbling.
Well, I think it's a good point that Daz made. He looked certainly more positive. It looked like he could go by people today.
We had the whole carry on over the ball getting passed back, which made Brendan Rodgers answer back the fans, and then we had the Dundee United game where the fans answered Brendan back, and in both of those games Celtic were nowhere near as positive, as cohesive as they were today, and as exciting as they were today. I said to you at 1-1, it's a classic Ross County Celtic game in Dingwall, but it finished 4-1. That doesn't normally happen. It's normally the belated winning goal, but this was Celtic going for it.
Thank you to Anthony and Lanark. What about Ewan from Oban? What jumped out for you, Ewan?
Hi there. Hi panel.
Hello.
How are you doing?
All good,
All
thank
right?
you. All good here.
Yeah. No, I agree with quite a lot of what's been said over the past week, especially with Hugh, to be honest with you, in regards to Yang. Completely in the same bracket, I have to admit. From the start, it sort of shows, I think you need to do it from the start. If you're at a big club, you need to, if you're given chances the way he has been, you've got to produce from the start. And if you don't, then I think it's a telltale sign that, it's, no matter what age you are, I think it's, Yang for me, whether he goes out on loan or what, I'm not too sure, but right now, I wouldn't say it's good enough for Celtic. No chance.
I
applaud.
applaud.
I was just going to ask you, not encouraged Ewan by his performance today, not a sign that things can get better.
What was the performance today, Gordon? What would I be encouraged by with that? In your opinion?
It's not really my opinion. I think you lot all said he played a bit better today.
All I said was he made his contribution, and what was a team effort. He made his contribution, and I said to you, if I'd been doing it for a newspaper, I'd have said 6 out of 10. But Yang is not the story today. The story today is that Celtic go 18 points clear on a day when the Rangers chief executive says that Philippe Clement must get good results and soon, and they're at home tomorrow to St Johnstone, confronted by Celtic being 18 points ahead at the top of the league. And the other part of the story today, at the end of a week where there was a case of mistaken identity involving Kyogo Furuhashi with Atlanta in the MSL, Kyogo today had his best game of the season under the most difficult circumstances. Yang played his part. Celtic were model professionals. He made his contribution, but he's not the story.
What did please you today, Ewan?
So my main point actually was just to agree with Hugh. I've got quite a lot of respect for him. He's obviously been around, so just wanted to agree with him on his week's comments. Main point being probably towards the Celtic fans actually. This week I've seen quite a lot of Celtic fans echoing the rumours, saying that maybe it is time for Kyogo to go, which I find absolutely remarkable. I find it untenable, to be honest with you, as a Celtic fan, to be able to say that. This boy has been nothing short of incredible for us. He won single-handedly a cup final that I was at for us when Hibs penned us down 1-0 on his own. He won us that. If he was not playing for Celtic that day, we don't lift that trophy. We don't lift the trophy that day. So I think a lot of Celtic fans are not only entitled, but very, very short memories. That alone, so this performance today shouldn't surprise anybody. It's not just a case of, fair enough, the Ange Postecoglou system suited Kyogo better than what Brendan's does. That's fine. But good players adapt, and Kyogo adapted today. And in my opinion, another one, going on to the next one, is Arne Engels, a 21-year-old boy. Celtic fans' opinions of him has been ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They're comparing him to Matt O'Reilly, who left as a 23-year-old man who spent 2-3 years, 1 year under the tenure of Brendan Rodgers, who's notoriously great at making players better, and they're not giving Arne Engels the same opportunity that Matt O'Reilly had. So they're willing to call Arne Engels, I don't know whether you would describe it as a dud or because of this price tag.
Let's put those two names to the panel then, Gordon. I mean, Kyogo. Ewan's right. We'll never be able to measure it. I don't know what specific number of the Celtic fans, I don't even know if it's a big number at all, who think maybe the time would be right to change that department. If there is a good offer for Kyogo, maybe it wouldn't be the end of the world. But Ewan's making the point that today and various other times in his Celtic career, you can see the importance.
Yeah, and plus the fact you've got to go out and replace him. Look, every player in the world's got their price. Let's not be kidded here. But right now, there's absolutely no chance. The position Celtic are in, he's your best centre forward. There's absolutely no chance, unless I got money that I couldn't refuse, that I would be letting Kyogo anywhere. Look, he's went off the boil a little bit. Players do that. He set such a high bar. Then everybody thinks he's got to produce that week in, week out. That's the problem with us nowadays. And you're right about Engels coming in there. He's 21 years of age. He's shown that he's going to be in the future a top football player. The only thing I will say to you is you can't turn around and say, well, Yang, you can't talk about his age, blah blah blah. Ewan just did with Engels saying he's 21. Yang's 22. Yang's played 35 games, most of them coming off the bench. People judge too quickly. You look at Kuhn, for instance, when he came into the building. I know it's different when you argue and say, well, he had a sort of an illness. He got to the summer, started the season again. All of a sudden, bang, he becomes the best player at Celtic Football Club. So I think we just go too quick. But getting back to Kyogo, absolutely no chance of you letting him get out of the building.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, you look at the goals Kyogo scores. I think if he dries up in the big games, then maybe at Celtic, your number one striker, if he can't score in those games, you think, is it time to move on? But you think of the games that Kyogo scored in Champions League games this year. He scores against Rangers the first game at Celtic Park. He scores against Aberdeen, in the semi-final. Away at Tynecastle, big venues, big games. That's what Kyogo brings. Now he's sitting at 12 goals. He'll get to 20. And like I said earlier on the show, if you get to 20 consistently over your time at Celtic as a striker, you are doing well. And for Engels since September scored 6 goals. I don't know how many assists he'll have within that as well, because he's the corner kick taker. That's a good return for a young player, no matter the price tag, coming in your first season at a big club.
Quite simple for me. Kyogo's the main man. Under no circumstances do you sell him. Your alternative at the moment is Adam Ida, who's nowhere near the player that Kyogo is. And today we got a glimpse of the future with Johnny Kenny coming on, because he's the number 3 striker, and that's why he was brought back from Shamrock Rovers. And again, the goalkeeper prevented him from getting a goal on his debut. So that's the pecking order. But we've got Champions League to come, young boys, Aston Villa. Kyogo is the man, and you simply cannot sell him.
How can you be a Celtic fan at this moment in time and moan about anything, right? Yeah. They've won the first trophy of the season. They're 15 points clear of Rangers, right? 18 points clear of Rangers. They've got a great opportunity of advancing in Europe with young boys, and we expect them to do that. Football fans baffle me. I know they pay their money and they've got every right to go along. And I think game to game you can say, well, we didn't play well today. I take that on board. So and so had a bad game. But if you're a Celtic fan right now, I think everything's rosy in the garden for you.
Even if it is too knee-jerk, Mark, let's, even within our mad parameters of being knee-jerk, is Arnie Engels now back? I know I'm not saying he was ever away, but you know what I mean. Is he playing better now in the last kind of 4 games or so than he was previously?
Oh, without doubt. There's no doubt he just went off the boil for a wee bit. But which player doesn't? Which young player doesn't? But I guess the point is you play more good games than you do bad. As simple as that sounds. I think he started well when he came in. Okay, went off it a bit, but now the last 4 games, I think you can see what type of player he is. His ball for Kyogo's brilliant. The way he takes it from the throw-in, spins at the edge of the box and picks him out. So he's got a lot to his game: running power, composure in the ball, but where it matters most, goals and assists. He's certainly delivered that in his time at Celtic so far.
Okay, thank you very much to Ewan. 01419511025. Have you got more observations on the game in Dingwall? Do share them. What about this briefing, Rangers fans? Philippe Clement gets the backing of the board. Is that acceptable? Do you understand it? What about the transfer plans? What about tomorrow? What's it going to look and sound like against St Johnstone at Ibrox? Motherwell fans, St Mirren fans, how did you feel about your team's result today? We'll do as much as we can after these.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson, all here waiting for you to either reflect on today's action, look forward to tomorrow's, analyse the big talking points in Scottish football, whatever you fancy. Stephen's a Motherwell fan. Not a great result, Stephen. What's on your mind?
No, listen, it's not a great result, but I'm seeing people on social media again looking at the manager saying sack him, get Kettlewell out. It's ludicrous. It really is, Gordon. We have had, I believe, 5 games in the last 2 weeks. We have got players like Apostolos injured, we've got Lennon Millen injured, Steve Seddon's injured, Oxford does his slum, and we're scrambling for the goalkeeper today. Paul McGinn gets injured again. Harry Payton's out. Slattery's barely ready to start. So that amount, Lennon Miller, who by the way I don't think I mentioned, but that amount of injuries for any squad is going to be tough. Never mind that's for a team like Motherwell. And I just think there needs to be an element of realism. You look at who we've played. We've played Celtic and Rangers. We've played both Edinburgh sides away. We've played Aberdeen at home, and we've played Kilmarnock away. These are all tough fixtures, and yet we're coming out here still 5 points in the top 6, and people are acting as if we're in a crisis. I don't understand it.
Well, Gordon Dalziel just said there of the Celtic fans, what do you find to argue about when you're 18 points clear at the top of the league? But you cannot deny fans of any club, Celtic or Motherwell, and this programme of all programmes cannot deny the fans freedom of expression. And if they go early, or they're rational or irrational, it's all part of being a football fan. And that's why this programme is the flagship programme.
But he's not saying they're not allowed to say it. He's just then expressing his,
and he's quite right
that they're wrong.
Stephen's point of view is correct, but there are certain things that you just can't stop, and one of them is no matter what's going on at the club, someone will have a counter opinion.
I think it's always about, and it is actually quite similar to the Celtic debate about style during the week, in a way, just a few rungs down the pecking order. You're allowed to be critical. I think you're allowed to want better performances. You're allowed to want better results. It's just that criticism has to be measured. As an example, whether it's Kettlewell out or whatever, Motherwell in this life or the next will never sack a manager while sitting in 5th. They just won't. So you're wasting everybody's breath, genuinely wasting everybody's time by having that debate. Now if you think it's a sign of things to come or whatever, again, you'd be entitled to it. And it was a bad watch today, and it was a bad watch at Rugby Park. So you're allowed to say that, you're allowed to point it out, and you wouldn't be wrong. You need to just pitch that level of criticism at the appropriate amount, Gordon, and not be hysterical.
Listen, fans pay a lot of money, hard earned money. They got them down the country. You look at the conditions, it's absolutely freezing midweek and obviously today. So hats off to them. I have no problem whatsoever in a fan sitting there be critical, not and having a go at the team, having a go at individual players on the day. But where Stephen's making the point, I think you've got to look at the big picture here. And if you sit back and look at the big picture, I don't understand why you could come on and, well, Stephen's not, but Motherwell fans talking about get rid of the manager. The manager's doing a very, very good job. I know people will be shouting, well, there's no entertainment, it's been poor, the football has been poor. This is a results driven business. They're sitting 5th in the league. They've had a decent season so far. Stephen highlighted the amount of injuries, and it's injuries to key players. Motherwell can't afford to lose their key players. You look at today, goalkeeper scrambling about for a goalkeeper, not ideal. Their captain, a very important player to them, goes off before half time as well. So there's a lot to look at a football club. I just think the running in Motherwell from the top to the bottom, it's a really, really good club, Gordon, and I do believe they're going the right direction when they get everybody back.
It's just the way our game is now, that the fans want their cake to eat as well. They want to be in the top half of the table, but they want sheer entertainment, bodies flying into the box and no care for what's behind them. Managers have to manage their squad in different ways. I think Kettlewell's a prime example of that. He's had to deal with horrendous injuries that Stephen's just highlighted there, so maybe he has tweaked the way he plays in terms of a wee bit more defensive with pace up top, but he's got positive results. The thing is with Motherwell, when you go through this period, you will get weeks like this week where you play poorly, you can see no light at the end of the tunnel, you don't see your team creating a lot, and you lose a couple of games. But quite quickly you'll see them pick up positive results, and it wasn't that long ago they were 2 up against Rangers and could have went past Rangers and got the victory that they probably deserved on the day. So fans are very knee-jerk.
Any part of it, Stephen, the eye test that does worry you, that if certain performances were to become regular it could be a slide down the table, or are you still feeling fairly optimistic?
I'm still feeling fairly optimistic, but I completely take people's points and style of play. I think today, starting going 5 at the back with 2 fullbacks who lack mobility, real mobility in Stephen O'Donnell and Neil Wilson. I mean, you see the difference when Marvin Coletta comes on. He's getting us up the pitch. We're getting into better areas where we can hurt the opposition. And what I just want to say, by the way, what a moment for Callum Slattery today. He's been out for over a year. I know it's in the end a consolation goal, but just to see him back on the pitch getting a goal, what a moment for him, because he's certainly been through it. So it's good to see players like him back. And I don't think at any point, Gordon, we've been able to start our strongest 11 this season. Yeah, we're sitting in 5th. So I don't understand what people want from Motherwell. I know that they want an attractive style of football. And listen, I'd love to watch that every week, but give me 3 points and results any day.
Thank you very much. Good man, Stephen. A case well made from Stephen in Cambuslang. 01419511025. Not all just about the action on the pitch today, of course. There was a big story breaking round about lunchtime when it became clear that new CEO of Rangers, Patrick Stewart, had a briefing at the club and made it clear that Philippe Clement, despite all the calls to the contrary, has their backing as things stand. Mark is a Rangers fan. How do you reflect on that news today, Mark?
First and foremost, guys, Happy New Year.
Yes, same to you, Mark. Thank you very much.
And now let me say, I wish I could go back to the 2nd of January when we won, because by God, the things that have changed in a week. Guys, I'm not going to mince my words here, but I'll also try and not be offensive. Rangers are a running commentary joke. That we battered Celtic. That could have been 5 or 6-0, by the way, at Ibrox. We battered them. So on Rangers Day, which has maybe been 3 times this season, we can beat Celtic. We can beat anybody. The problem is that we're not, and there's huge problems. A number of issues. Number one, they're sticking with the manager. The fans want him out. It's not good enough. I don't know. Hugh Keevins, I think 75, which was the day my dear mum passed at 76 recently, and it's a long time watching football. And Hugh Keevins, as Rangers, have you ever known an old firm manager to be told you're safe, you're going nowhere, on the day they go 18 points behind their rivals? That's the first question. So on the day Rangers go 18 points behind Celtic, he's told he's going nowhere. The fans basically better shut up.
And that's the dilemma, Mark. and you highlighted it, the Rangers fans want him out, and they also ask for the new chairman, the new chief executive, and the board in general to show decisive, strong leadership. And by that they mean let the manager go. But they will not do it. And therefore, Mark, you're right. I've never known such a thing to take place when there was an 18-point gap between the clubs. Automatically, down through the decades, the Rangers manager would have been gone by this time because of that gap. But I think we have to introduce a note of realism. There appears to be some dubiety over whether Rangers could actually afford to dismiss Philippe Clement and his backroom team, while at the same time trying to bring players into the club. I'd be a little concerned, were I a Rangers supporter, with that part of the statement which said one new player will come in, maybe two. But there is the classic dilemma. You ask for the strong hand of leadership, and in other words, you mean sack the manager, but the board will not comply with the fans' wishes.
Now, the next point to make here, and this is even more important, because it's not just about managers. The club's been ran from the gutter, and that's the reality. The next point is that where are we going here? I mean, where are we going? It's just an absolute farce. There's the money situation, there's the type of players they've signed, there's the contracts. It's how many? I think I've counted 7 times we've been told in 4 seasons the club's going to have an external review. 7 times in 4 seasons. Now the fans have got to talk with their feet. Either we don't turn up, or there is huge protest at the games, not just sections, as I say, against the board. So I'm in two situations here. I don't like the manager, not personally. He's not getting enough out of the players, and they're falling apart in terms of the league position. But I despise the board of directors, not on a personal level, but in the job they're doing. I despise the board of directors. So the fans now need to talk with their feet. Don't turn up at the games. There now needs to be huge protests, because this now appears to be the only way that we are going to get action. Because another review, the 7th review in 4 seasons at Rangers Football Club, quite simply is a review for a review for a review.
I'll take Mark's word for the arithmetic. I haven't counted Gordon, but I think he will be close, certainly on the numbers. And that must be why the Rangers fans, even the ones, right, who think, okay, maybe sacking Philippe Clement doesn't fix everything. And I mean, clearly the problems are bigger than that. So what does the recruitment look like, and what does finances look like, and governance of the club, and so on. But to hear that again, and to think that whatever it is isn't going to be a quick fix, must be pretty demoralising, because I've been here so many times in the last few years.
Yeah, you can hear the passion in Mark's voice there. I think he's very angry with his club, and rightly so. It's not just on the pitch, it's not the manager. I think the full club have got to take a bit of responsibility for what's happening at Rangers. I said earlier in the programme, Gordon, I can sort of understand what they're trying to do. Patrick Stewart's come out and made that statement today. I know that Rangers fans will not be happy. I'm not too sure, and Mark will probably disagree, that let's boycott. I don't think that helps a club, right? I really don't. I know their anger, I know everything about it. I've never been a fan of the manager. I've never been a fan, but I can understand, because you look at their European campaign, they're sitting in 8th. They've got a great chance of qualifying. They're still in the Scottish Cup. They've got 3 home games coming up as well. That's got to be very interesting. I just don't know. And obviously the January window's open. I don't know where Rangers are going if they go and sack the manager now. Who do they get in January? How do they go forward? I think that Rangers will have a game plan that if things go along like this and they get to the end of the season, then I think that's when they'll act.
See, on that, Mark, then you presumably don't think it's only the manager, because you've mentioned the board and running of the club and reviews. You don't think it's only the manager. So what makes you so sure that the manager has to be sacked, if that makes sense? How much would that fix in your mind?
Well, first and foremost, as Hugh Keevins has also said, he's never known in his period in journalism for an old firm team to go 18 points behind the other, and the manager to be told he's going nowhere.
So the club is not what the team are not getting from the manager what they need. Look at Dundee the other night. It's a farce. Thousands going up, wasting their money on rubbish. They're getting rubbish. So the manager is not getting out of the players on a regular basis what he should be getting out of the players. So the league position alone, I look back to all the years under Dick Advocaat and all the guys, they go that kind of points behind you go. So that's, unfortunately or fortunately, that's the way it works in Glasgow. Longer term, I don't know where we're going, to be perfectly honest. I'd be quite happy for the directors to sell the club to somebody who's got money. But we can only see fans talking with their feet now. Because you said, Gordon Dale says wait till the end of the season. That's 6 months in the bin. Rangers need, as you say, probably about 6 months to prepare for next season. Then they've got a Champions League, please God, if they finish second, a Champions League qualifying campaign. So this is the time to do it. The fans can see that this is not working under Clement on a regular basis. So they need to act with the manager. So what happens if Rangers get beat tomorrow to St Johnstone, which I hope they don't? What happens if they get beat to Aberdeen on Wednesday? This new guy that's come in, Patrick Stewart, has said the manager's going nowhere. So if Rangers lose tomorrow, he's got to... What? So he's going nowhere?
To be fair, Mark Wilson, he didn't say he's going nowhere ever under any circumstances. I think there were caveats in there. Mark quite rightly points out the doomsday scenario. What if they lose tomorrow? To be fair, even by Rangers standards, there's nothing to suggest they'll lose that game tomorrow. It tends to be on the road. There's a lot going on here. It
would create a lot of problems if they didn't pick up 3 points tomorrow, because results must improve means instantly. And that's right, they've got 3 home games coming up that they should be able to take care of, followed by 3 away games. It's, and that's before the end of January. So it's an incredibly busy period for Philippe Clement, who needs victories to secure him in a job. But I think Mark on the line's right. In terms of delaying the inevitable, what is the point then? Because are you going to get to summer and say, by the way, here's a new manager now, and we'll write off this season again? That surely has to stop from Ibrox and a Rangers mentality that we're writing off X amount of seasons till we get things right. Mark makes a good point. Are you going to waste another 4 months and just let this malaise carry on before acting? Or are you actually going to start putting things in place to actually win the league and challenge Celtic again anytime soon?
Mark, the caller is trying to address the big picture here. The big picture being that Rangers went into a dark place in 2011 on the back of administration and liquidation, and they have yet to emerge properly from that dark place, because they have won Steven Gerrard league title and a cup, both league and Scottish, and that's it.
European final?
Well,
can you do that by accident?
Yes, but sadly in football, if they'd won it, history didn't win it.
No, I'm not saying it's enough, but I think the comeback was supposed to be complete round about those times, just because it's gone backwards since.
And 6 months later they sacked Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Let me ask Mark, you said about voting with your feet sort of thing, Mark. What do you expect tomorrow? I mean, to be fair, it's freezing as well, but I don't know if that plays a part. Will the crowd be significantly down? If so, by how much? Those who do go, what how do you, if you're representative of many Rangers fans' views, how do you make that known?
How it will be known is there'll be a number of things. The Supporters Association, who are a very sort of shrewd businessman-like supporters group that don't like to get involved in all this, are now involved. So I think that the crowd will be a third down anyway. So because of the weather and because of how we're feeling, you'll be lucky if there's 32,000, 33,000, and I think there'll be thousands outside before the game as well. We've been forced now. We are now being forced to shout, not abuse, but to shout our opinions at the board, because there's nothing else we can do. We have a manager there that's a lame duck, and he's been put into that position. A strong CEO would have come out and says, thank you, it's not working, goodbye. But he's not done that.
Well, we'll leave it there, Mark. You've made some passionate points, and thank you for doing so. 01419511025. Take more of your calls next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel, Hugh Keevins, all here in the final part of a 6-hour Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard. We have time left to get your calls in. 01419511025 is the number that you need. The big action continues. Rangers against St Johnstone tomorrow, which could be as interesting in the stands as it is on the pitch, because the reaction coming in to today's briefing from new CEO Patrick Stewart, saying that they are backing Philippe Clement, has split the Rangers fans. Will we leave it there, Hugh? Is that fair?
Yeah, polarised the Rangers fans, but this is an argument that will go on beginning tomorrow until such time as the fans want their will to be imposed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Twitter. It's hard to know just how much emphasis you put on that. Is that where angrier people shout louder? Perhaps it is.
Yep.
Certainly lots of angry reactions to that.
There will be some form of protest at Ibrox, either inside or outside the ground tomorrow. That's inevitable. What we have is an impasse, and the fans' only strength is the sound of their own voices. They have to make their feelings heard.
John is a Rangers fan on the line. How are you, John?
Oh, not bad. For by the cold weather.
Oh, it's nothing worse, John. Hope you've got the heating on and you're listening to us. What are you thinking about the football at the moment?
Well, what I'm thinking about is I think we can't afford to sack the manager. I hope it doesn't get to the place that we can't afford to keep him also because the fans drifting away. But just briefly, the chap there says it was 18 points. The difference was the same when it was 2 points. I'm sure in the time I've seen football, the other half of the city has been ahead, maybe 10 points. But if it had been the 3 points, it had been way ahead. We can't keep sacking managers, and he can only play what the money. He can only use the money what he's got. He's not been given a lot of money. Unfortunately, Mr. Beale spent quite a few quid of that and lavishing it on players that didn't have the ability. He's brought in this Inagami and Alexis Jefty. These are good potential players, and other ones. What we need is a right good strong centre back and a good centre forward, but a bit of dig and a bit of height. The goalkeeper, I don't rate. I'm very sorry for watching 74 and a half years of goalkeeping. I'm afraid I don't rate him. But the boy Kelly, he's not got a presence in the box coming for crosses. So I don't know where the club goes from here if you continue to sack managers.
I think at the core of that, Mark, that does make sense, because I don't think you can keep sacking managers. This notion of Rangers can't afford to sack, and then John says I hope that doesn't become can't afford to not sack, which you often hear. I suppose it's that whole risk thing where Rangers can't afford to sack him if they really had to. Yeah, I think we'll all agree with that. Like, you're not keeping him forever.
No.
Yeah.
If they lost the next 10 games in the spin, they're going to sack Philippe Clement. So I suppose what you're weighing up, yes, it's going to cost a lot to sack him. So if you're going to do it, if you're going to pull the trigger, you need to be absolutely certain that right now that's going to cause a major upwards turn.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you've properly wasted your money.
Yeah, and maybe the argument is there going to be with that group of players at the club at the minute? How can we ever tell? I'm a great believer that good coaches and good managers get the best out of players in terms of style, and they develop them and they make them better individuals. So I then look at Rangers at the minute, and under Philippe Clement since he came in, what has he been in? 15 months, something like that. Who's he developed? Who's got better? What style has got better? Is it good to watch on a whole? The answer to all them for me is no.
Are those categories at least maybe slightly heading in a direction now where they weren't before? I feel like
I think
you
one
can
or
make
two
a case,
players,
Jefty, Egeman. I'm not saying world beaters all of a sudden, but maybe Raskin playing some of his better stuff, Hadji back in.
I think no, the introduction of Hadji certainly helped, but then how much guilt or how much part does Philippe Clement take for that situation? I think Egeman has certainly helped his case.
Sorry, just on that, he says he always wanted him in the team.
Well, okay, that will exonerate him from that then.
I know people have picked up on comments where they believe that has shown not to be the case, but he that's his sort of stance on it now.
Yeah, but it's certainly one or two of the other ones. Raskin, I think he's playing some decent stuff. I think Egeman is a standout. But is that enough? Is that enough to take you, to keep you going? Is that enough to believe that you're going in the right direction? I don't think so.
There's one undeniable truth in this matter. While one crowd shouts one thing and the opposition crowd shout another, the one undeniable truth is that Philippe Clement cannot survive bad results between now and the end of the season. He's got to make a big difference against St Johnstone tomorrow. They've got to win that game comfortably. Difficult, given that there'll be a strange atmosphere inside and outside the ground. Aberdeen midweek must win that match in front of the crowd at Ibrox, because he's been given a stay of execution. The statement only says that they're giving him their backing at this time.
And that's what I mean. I wonder, maybe I'm being too literal, right? But I wonder if the phrase "can't afford to sack" becomes problematic, because, to repeat it, if Rangers lost their next 10 games in a row, they would sack him.
Yeah,
so I think if they lost their next 2,
I know, but I'm trying to be extreme in the example. But that then, what it really means is, can't afford to take the risk to sack him right now, would be more accurate.
They're testing the waters. They're saying to the supporters, look, we know results must improve, but we've given him our backing for now. So they're testing the waters. They'll find out what things are like tomorrow, inside and outside the ground. And he lives on a game by game basis, and there will come a point when Patrick Stewart will take a temperature check and say, we have no option but to give the crowd their wishes and remove the manager.
They're really playing the hope game. They're hoping that he can salvage something out of this season, whether it be the Scottish Cup, whether it be progressing in Europe to better stages, making more money. I don't buy into this. Listen, they're giving up the season, right? There's still a lot to play for. Obviously giving up the league. Even if a new manager comes in now, he ain't, no matter what he does with a magic wand, he ain't catching Celtic anyway. So I just think they're in this position. They're keeping their fingers crossed, hoping that he can. Next 3 games is so important for him. He's a manager that now it's just going game to game.
Thank you very much to John. Let's do a quick bit of reaction on today's games. We've had some calls on the Motherwell performance, losing 3-1 at Easter Road. Here is Stuart Kettlewell.
I think it's a case the individual errors really cost us today. Could have started and could have played better in the first half, no question about it. Sometimes it can be easier to do that in the second half when you're 2-0 down, but I just look at the nature of the goals, and that's my biggest frustration. The game management, the kind of mental fatigue that possibly started to set in as much as physical, and then ultimately the penalty at a stage where we get ourselves back in 2-1 and we look as if we're growing into the game, and we look as if we're the more progressive side, it has to be said, at that stage. And you fancy we'll carve out a chance or two at that point, and to give that penalty away at that stage quite clearly gives Hibs the lift that they needed, and it gives them a platform just to see the game out.
So disappointment for Motherwell. Stephen Robinson as well, not having a good afternoon, had a chance to equalise from the penalty spot, missed another penalty. They've missed a few, and they've now 4 consecutive defeats. St Mirren,
we've lost games when arguably we've been the better side, but you know we're disappointed, of course. It's a case of just resetting again and going, look, we've done this before, been in this situation before where we've lost 4 games, and we have to react to it and then find margins that we're getting punished for. We have to try and cut them out.
One man who won't be as despondent as former St Mirren manager, current Dundee United boss Jim Goodwin. Louis Moult was his match winner in that game in Paisley.
We kind of wrapped him up in cotton wool yesterday. He joined in with the group, but he was very much non-contact. The players were told not to go near him. He had an injection in his shoulder about 2 hours before kick-off to try and numb the pain, and he made himself available, and that's the type of character that he is. They're the types of people that we want at the club, and he comes on in those big moments, and he's a real natural goal scorer, and I don't think he'll have scored many better than that over the last few years.
Looking forward to seeing it. Will it be Roger Hannah or Andy Halliday's goal of the weekend? We will find out Monday night at 6 o'clock when we return. But in the meantime, Hugh, how would you sum up the landscape in Scottish football as we sit here right now?
We have a tale of 2 teams in one city. Celtic have the sun on their faces and the wind at their backs. They go 18 points clear at the top of the Premiership table. Rangers have dark clouds hovering over Ibrox, and a difficult atmosphere to confront tomorrow when they take on St Johnstone. The CEO, Patrick Stewart, says Philippe Clement is the manager at this time. His time for the future starts tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Yes, what a day it is going to be, on the field, off the field, in the stands. Who knows how else it will play out. But Rangers against St Johnstone, Aberdeen Hearts as well tomorrow. So a busy Sunday, and whatever happens there, we reflect on it all on Monday night from 6. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I know just the man to see you through the rest of the night. GBX with George Bowie is up next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Group. The Lookers Big Event. Thousands of great value used vehicles ready to drive away.
At William Hill Vegas, we're bursting with entertainment. Introducing V-Play, where revealing rewards couldn't be easier. Play your usual slots and table games featuring the V-Play icon. And when the V-Play bar's full, you're ready to spin the wheel for cash prizes. V-Play, only at William Hill Vegas. Bursting with entertainment. For GBP online accounts, use cash balance to play. Chance to spin and win prizes from 30p to £1,000 randomly awarded. Spin and claim within 7 days. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gamble aware.
Football, it has its ups and downs. There's the players who kiss the badge and kiss the club goodbye right after you've splashed out £100 to get their name on your kit. And the A-list striker who always sticks it in row Z. The good news is the Ladbrokes ACCA gives you auto insurance, free bets back and big odds boosts. So whatever else lets you down, it won't be your ACCA. It's a gaffer of an ACCA from Ladbrokes.
18 plus, online and mobile. Minimum odds apply. Maximum 1 to 3 £10 free bets per customer per day. Up to £50 at boosted odds. Restrictions and T&Cs apply. BeGambleAware.org. Take time to think.